The following is a special presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Live from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, it's an ESPN baseball special. The Cubs, led by 58 home run man Sammy Sosa, and the Cardinals, with 60 home run slugger Mark McGwire, chasing history. 1998, a season of truly memorable feats. The Yankees chasing the ultimate team record. The great career numbers of Barry Bonds, baseball's first 400-400 man. 4 teams on the verge of 100-win seasons, an accomplishment never before achieved. Yet all of this has been made merely a bit player. For there is only one truly big story this baseball season. It is a story of 2 men chasing sports' most cherished record. 61, just a number, yet a plateau of incredible achievement. 2 generations ago, Roger Maris became forever linked with sports' greatest icon. Surviving unbelievable pressures, he passed the Babes 60 homers, setting a new home run standard. Now, 37 years later, Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire are pursuing the record again, capturing the hearts of fans everywhere, not only with their colossal home runs, but with their class and character. The record on the verge of falling. Anticipation fills the air. Sammy and Big Mac chasing history. It's the biggest baseball party in the country, and everybody's invited, it seems. Most of them wearing the red of the St. Louis Cardinals in their McGwire jerseys. Their favorite is clear cut. The Cubs and Cardinals, those ancient rivals, McGwire and Sosa. And don't forget, there'll be a lot of Cub fans and Sosa fans in attendance here as well. The home run chase looks like this. McGwire with 60, 1 away from Maris, 20 games left. Sosa at 58 with 19 left to play. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller along with Joe Morgan, and we are excited, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Oh, man. We are thrilled to be here today as Mark McGwire is just 1 away from equaling Maris. Maris's family is here. And, Joe, we got a couple of guys here who come from disparate backgrounds. Sosa, who never played baseball till he was 14. He was too busy to support his family when he was a young kid. Mark McGwire, the son of a dentist from Southern California. They have traveled different roads to get here for sure, but now they seem like the closest of friends, and they'll be forever linked as they make their historic charge.
Well, I think they've really grown together in the last couple of weeks, John. For a couple of weeks there, it seemed like Mark McGwire was not enjoying it. People were calling him surly. They say he really wasn't being cooperative. And he went to play the Cubs, and he saw Sammy Sosa smiling every day and having a good time. And since that time, I believe that Mark McGwire has started to enjoy this chase. When I talked to him the last couple of days, I mean, he's just really smiling, and he says, I'm looking forward to it. So I think it's been great for both of them to have each other.
They have different challenges today, that's for sure. Darren Oliver, a young left-hander, will be facing Sosa for the Cardinals, and Mike Morgan, veteran right-hander, will be going up against McGwire for the Cubs.
And that's exactly right, John. You have the experience of Mike Morgan going against McGwire against the stuff of Darren Oliver. Darren Oliver has great stuff, good fastball, good curveball. He will come after and challenge Sosa a lot of times. I think what you'll see from Mike Morgan, he will try to feature the high fastball to Mark McGwire, get him to chase sliders away and splitters. So I think it's going to be a great matchup, the crafty veteran and the young kid.
Mike Morgan began his big league career as an 18-year-old with Oakland. He's standing by with our Dave Campbell.
John, thanks, Mike. A veteran pitcher, but still a lot of pressure today, the home run chase. But your team is very much in a race also.
Well, that's the most important thing, Dave, is the wild card chase for, our ball club at this point in time. And since, I've been traded over from Minnesota, I've been called upon to do a job. As of lately, I haven't pitched too well for him, but we've won both of my starts. And I'm not naive to the, what's going on. I know what's going on with the McGwire chase and the Sammy Sosa deal, going for Roger Maris's record. But I'd like to touch on it's great for baseball in general. I mean, baseball kind of took a little bit of a beating in '94. It's back on its feet again, the greatest game of all times, and it's a great opportunity for the game to come back, and it's a great opportunity for Mike Morgan to be pitching a game like this today that means something for our team and that means something for the game of baseball.
One of the spies in your clubhouse told me you have given up one historic home run.
Yeah, Yaz got me in 1979, his 400th home run when I was 19 years old in Fenway, so I'm in the books on one, and If I happen to get in the books on another occasion, but the Cubs win the game, then I've done my job.
Thanks. John?
It's the Cubs and the Cardinals before the sellout crowd and all of you. Sosa and McGwire center stage.
I want him to break the record. I think that if he break the record, it's going to satisfy a lot of people.
I don't know how the media would take that, to tell you the truth. 2 guys breaking the record in 1 year, and it can't happen.
Let's say this is Castrol Syntec motor oil, and this is a harmful particle in your engine. Get the point? You see, Syntec's patented stabilizers seek out and neutralize harmful particles, protecting in ways other oils can't. Castrol Syntec, the active lubricant.
GMC Yukon, you may welcome a little challenge. A little mountain climbing. With horsepower that leads its class, Yukon dominates the road.
Even towing feels like child's play.
Yukon by GMC. It puts you comfortably in command.
This ESPN Major League Baseball special is brought to you by Castrol Syntec, the active lubricant. That's the scene high above Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Our ESPN Labor Day special. And it truly is an interesting atmosphere out here. There's the Mac Attack group who come every day with their placards. And, of course, many of these people sitting in the outfield seats are hopeful that if McGwire hits number 61 today, they'll be the one to catch it. The 20-year-old fellow who caught number 60 here on Saturday, all he wanted was to take batting practice and to meet Big Mac in person. And they took care of that right away. He took his BP yesterday. And then he was out front today like everybody else, trying to find a ticket, trying to find a way to get in. Mark McGwire. And it truly was almost like a metamorphosis took place from one day to the next once he hit his 50th home run. He kept saying all through these many months. I mean, he's been asked about this since before the season ever started, which he thought was ludicrous. And he kept telling people over and over, even after he got off to a fast start in the regular season, that it was ludicrous. But he said, once I get to 50 before September, if that happens, then ask me about it. Well, he seems to have loosened up, and he seems to be enjoying it now, which I think it makes it even that much more fun. McGwire and the Cardinals take the field. The Cardinals, who are headed nowhere this year, 4 games under 500. So McGwire and his chase of Maris has become the season, really, for the Cardinals. Here's the AMC Sierra Cubs batting order. It'll be Lance Johnson in center field. Jose Hernandez has had a fine year at shortstop. Mark Grace at first base hitting third. Sammy Sosa will hit cleanup against the left-hander. And look at this. 21 homers in his last 39 games. Glenn Allen Hill in left field. Gary Gaetti, the former Cardinal, at third base. Mickey Morandini is at second base. Scott Service is the catcher hitting eighth. And Mike Morgan, the veteran right-hander, is on the mound, just recently acquired from the Minnesota Twins. And on the mound, the former Texas Ranger, left-hander Darren Oliver, acquired in the Todd Stottlemyre-Royce Clayton trade from Texas. And that's his overall record for both Texas and St. Louis.
Well, he throws the ball well. He has a good fastball, a lot of potential. He's a young guy that they think if he ever just gets command of his control and, you know, be able to stand out there and throw breaking balls in certain situations, he will be a great pitcher. But he has good stuff, fastball, curveball. He throws a changeup. But in most cases, you're going to see him challenge Sosa, hopefully for his sake, not down the middle, but he'll be trying to challenge him with the fastball. And let's take a look at the defense. You know, this is pretty good fast outfield. Mark McGwire at first base, of course, he's got 10 errors so far this season, which is not his norm. He won a Gold Glove a few years ago. People only think of him as just a power hitter, but he's a pretty good defensive first baseman as well.
Mark McGwire, who, of course, was a pitcher. I mean, he was recruited out of high school, Damien High School in Southern California, as a pitcher. He was recommended to the head coach at USC, Rod Dado, who, by the way, is in attendance here this weekend to watch his former protege. Marcel Latchman was a pitching coach for SC and recommended McGwire to Rod Dado, and that's how McGwire ended up going to USC as a pitcher. Lance Johnson leads it off now. Unlike the Cardinals, the Cubs have a lot to play for other than the home run record. They are trying to make the postseason. That ball is caught and left by Ron Gant. There's one away. The Cubs have the lead in the National League wild card race by 1 game over the New York Mets.
And this is one thing that I'm a little surprised at with the Cubs, that they have not moved Sammy Sosa like up to the third slot to give him more at-bats over the course of the season. Plus, you know, as a pitcher, you have to face him in the first inning. That puts a little more pressure on you to get the first 2 hitters out. McGwire is in a perfect situation like that. They know they have to face McGwire in the first inning.
Well, as Jose Hernandez takes a strike, Jose Hernandez has 21 homers and 69 runs batted in. Sosa will most often hit third against a right-hander, and they have Grace up in the third spot against the lefties, and that's a base hit for Hernandez. The Mets are in second place in the wild card. They're playing Atlanta. Here's an update.
John, thank you. Second inning, Bruce Chen making his major league debut for Atlanta because Denny Nagel scratched because of a bad shoulder, and Louis Lopez with a man on, his second home run of the year. Klesko going back, can't get it, gone. 2-run shot, 2-0 Mets, John, right now, the bottom of the second inning.
Thanks to Bill Pito for that update from Shea Stadium. We'll keep you posted on that ball game, which has a great significance to the Cubs and also the San Francisco Giants. The Giants third place in the wild card in the National League, and they play late tonight in San Diego. Here is Mark Grace, left-handed hitter, .319 average, 14 homers, 74 batted in. And Jim Riggleman feels that Grace is pretty strong against all types of pitching, but is liable maybe to see something a little better to hit from a lefty with Sosa protecting. The count 2-0.
Well, that may be true, and I agree that, you know, Mark Grace is a good hitter. That's why I think that he could hit fourth on a daily basis and get Sammy Sosa that extra at bat over, you know, over a few ball games, especially when there are home or on, you know, they get more at bats.
That's a foul tip.
And I just think of the pressure factor that it puts on a pitcher. I mean, when Mike Morgan walks out there, he's going to face Delino DeShields, but he's thinking Mark McGwire's third. And in this case, you know, Darren Oliver says, if I get the first 3 guys out, I don't even have to worry about Sammy Sosa.
2-1 the count. And even now, if he could get Grace to hit a double play, he would not have to face Sosa. And Grace has grounded into 17 double plays. Ironically, he and Sosa are tied for the club lead in that category. Sosa and Grace both hit the ball hard, and they, or at least Grace is not that fast a runner. 2-1 the count. Hernandez not running. In the air to left. Gant. 2 down, and now Sammy Sosa will arrive center stage.
Well, then one thing to note, the first couple of hitters here, the first 3 hitters will hit the ball hard.
Great ovation for Sosa from the Cardinal fans. Sammy Sosa standing in. John Miller and Joe Morgan with you from St. Louis. We're in the first inning. Welcome to those of you who've been watching the Mets and Braves game. And Sosa takes a called strike from Darren Oliver, the young left-hander pitching for the Cardinals. 2 men out. And Jose Hernandez, the runner at first. Sosa with 58 home runs, 140 runs batted in.
And you see from Oliver basically hard stuff. So he's going to challenge Sosa. He's just going to try to challenge him as he did the first pitch by going over the outside corner and then try to miss inside, go back away.
Popped up to who else? Mark McGwire. Sosa is 0 for 1, and McGwire will be coming up third in the last of the first. Stay with us.
Hey, when it comes to the weekend, we figure it's time for kicking back.
Yeah, right.
Now there's a car that helps your supercharged family take leisure to a new extreme. The supercharged Regal GS. Besides having more standard safety features than any car in its class, Regal also has room for 5 very supercharged people. And all their supercharged toys. The Regal GS by Buick, official car of the supercharged family.
Oh my, that was a devastating punch. The champ knocked him into next week.
You never know in life.
It's all over for the kid.
You might need health insurance.
It's going to be a while before we see him in the ring again.
You might need long-term care insurance.
But don't forget, folks, the kid is leaving here tonight with a $2 million purse.
You might need help with investments.
That should ease his pain some.
So at the Conseco Companies, our goal is to help you protect wealth, create wealth for life.
ESPN's baseball special on Labor Day. The Cubs and the Cardinals as we join the National Home Run Watch. Sammy Sosa is 0 for 1. Between innings, Matt McGwire. Mark McGwire's 10-year-old son, who flew in from Southern California for the big weekend. And Mark came in and gave his son a kiss. And there's Matt, who has got to be as proud as he can be, and perhaps as nervous as anybody here, waiting to see if his dad going to hit number 61. Here is the GMC truck Cardinals batting order. It will be Delino DeShields at second base, Brian Jordan in right field, and Mark McGwire hitting third at first base. And he is just otherworldly right now. 13 homers in the last 19 games. It's not possible. Ray Langford hits cleanup in center. Ron Ganton left. Fernando Tatis at third base. Placido Polanco is at short, hitting seventh. Darren Oliver, the pitcher, hits eighth, and hitting ninth, the catcher Eli Marrero. And on the mound for the Cubs, the veteran right-hander Mike Morgan. And here in St. Louis, up in the hand-operated out-of-town scoreboard, they keep track of the out-of-town scores, including the McGwire-Sosa race, and McGwire continues to have a 2-homer advantage. Delino DeShields leads it off, hitting .298. Bluffs the bunt, takes a called strike. Morgan started the year with the Minnesota Twins, went on the disabled list, and when he was acquired by the Cubs, he just had come off the disabled list and has not yet pitched real well for Chicago. 1 ball, 1 strike. Morgan is 38 years of age. He, like McGwire, began his career with the Oakland Athletics, although several years before McGwire. He made his first major league start You guys are hitting the ball hard here in the early going.
Well, I think, again, that first inning is tough for the pitchers. I mean, I think they're a little nervous, too. This is a pretty big event going on here, John, and I think a lot of people have to adjust to that. There you take a look at the Cubs defensively.
Gaetti over at third base, Joe, has really been a great addition for the Cubs, ironically acquired from the Cardinals. Brian Jordan having a sensational year. He's striking the outside. Jordan is hitting .317, 23 homers, 32 doubles, 7 triples, plays a great outfield, and will be a free agent at the end of the year. A little bit low on the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mark McGwire has come out of the on-deck circle. As you said in the first inning, Joe, with the Cardinals or the Cubs batting, no question about having to face McGwire in the first inning. Ran that one into the hands. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he's here to watch Dan, but he's also here to work. Matt McGwire's got some work to do as the bat boy for the game. Hot, humid, hazy day in St. Louis. Pulled it outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 93 degrees, the game time temperature here on the shores of the Mississippi. The wind is blowing out toward left field. Run out of the hill, and that's out number 2, and now McGwire. Well, you saw Mark McGwire's mom and dad, John and Ginger McGwire, Mark McGwire's son, and they're all here now with everyone else as Mark McGwire comes to the plate in a tough slider. Nice pitch, 0-1.
Well, the one thing they did, you may not have noticed, the umpire had to change balls. They get a new batch of balls when McGwire comes up, so they will be able to identify the record home run ball, or the tying and the breaking of the record ball.
The family, Roger Maris, also came to town. 4 children. Pat Maris, the widow of Roger Maris, had to be hospitalized upon arrival. That ball is gone if it's fair. It is a home run. Number 61. He has tied Maris. Ray Langford is the hitter, although I don't know that many notice. Everybody is still standing and applauding Mark McGwire, who just hit a streak of lightning off the facing of the mezzanine level in left field that took about 2 seconds to get there, if that. His son Matt was the first to greet him. And 3-0 to Langford.
There's no one alive that knows how he feels about now. Roger Maris would be the only one that would really know how he feels.
They just can't start cheering. A strike. 3-1 now. Home run number 61 on Labor Day 1998 in the 143rd game. Maris hit number 61 in the final game of the year, October the 1st, 1961, against Tracy Stallard of the Boston Red Sox in the 4th inning with nobody on at Yankee Stadium. And McGwire, you can see there, it looked like he's shaking.
Well, he'd have to be. Only a professional athlete, to be honest with you, can have that feeling that he has now, personal accomplishment and setting out to do something and accomplishing it, something that started when he was about 5 years old. All the hard work that he's put in, the ground balls that he's taken, the extra batting practice, playing Little League all the way up to where he is now, all that was in preparations for this moment. And for you to achieve that moment is just unbelievable.
Still 3-2 to Langford. In the first inning of the 143rd game against Mike Morgan, Mark McGwire becomes the second in history to reach 61 home runs.
Well, not only that, John, he also erases the stigma that goes with Babe Ruth's 154 game 60 home run record. He has broken that record as well. So no longer will there be an asterisk in the book, which was taken away by Fay Vincent anyway, but no longer will that be a topic of conversation.
And it's ball 4 to Langford. Two down, runner at first, and Ron Gandy. And Roger has company now at 61. Again, this we had started to mention Roger Maris's widow, Mrs. Pat Maris, when she arrived here in town, actually started feeling ill on the flight to St. Louis, as we understand it, and had to be hospitalized, although they say she's doing fine now. Langford running, and he easily steals second base. His 20th steal of the year. Well, number 60 for McGwire was not the kind of McGwire-ian home run that we've come to expect. It was a high, towering fly ball that landed in the seats in left field. But this one, this was quite a shot. And
Jerry wrote 6-2, C1, and what was the other?
that ball hit off the windows of the restaurant out there in left field, just below the upper deck, and then ricocheted down. And you just saw the point in the, I guess, the first or second row right down there in the lower level where it landed. So somebody down there was able to retrieve the carom. And Ron Gant has a walk.
This is a line drive. It's not really, it's a fastball that hits the middle of the plate and hits a line drive down the left field line, as you call it, John. It's fair or foul. It was close to being foul. And I can't personally see where it landed, but I know it was over the fence.
They measured it, or they estimated the measurement at 430 feet. There you see it hit the window and ricochet down below. This is young Fernando Tatis, acquired from Texas. First ball swinging. Grace has to put out. But Mark McGwire has a share of history now. 61 homers. It is now Maris and McGwire. Not quite 37 years from the date of Maris's hitting number 61. And another ovation for McGwire.
John, one of the tough things is for the opposing players. When you hit a home run like that, he rounded first base. Mark Grace gave him a high five. And I know a lot of the other players wanted to congratulate him too, but you just don't know what to do sometimes. Because this guy's just hit a home run that's put your team behind. So you're not sure exactly what you should be doing. Well, there's the swing, and he knows it's a home run if it stays fair. And he knows he hit it so hard he couldn't hook. And there's the Maris family behind him.
And Stan Musial down there. There's the Maris family.
And they have to have mixed emotions too. I'm sure they didn't want his record broken like his parents did, but by the same token, you know, I think they're happy that this has brought a lot of fame to their father.
John and Ginger McGwire sharing a great moment. And then young Matt McGwire was the first out to greet him upon crossing home plate. And then pointing up toward his mom and dad. Sammy Sosa reacted as well. And then the fans just would not stop cheering. McGwire came out and took one bow, but the cheering continued long after that.
And John, you could see, I mean, even Sammy Sosa, I mean, he's out there clapping, but he doesn't do it with a lot of emotion because, I mean, you don't want your starting pitcher to see you out there clapping because you just gave up a home run to the opposition.
Well, and of course, I'm sure he had mixed feelings. He's been rooting for McGwire all along. He's made no secret of that. But at the same time, his ball club is in a pennant race trying to make October baseball. And Sosa has been saying over and over again, that is the primary goal for him, not the home run record. Darren Oliver back to work now to Glen Allen Hill. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Hill, Gaetti, and Morandini for the Cubs. McGwire. Oliver got a late break over there, and Hill is safe. Oliver did not break off the mound immediately, and it cost him. And a very warm welcome. In fact, welcome back to Gary Gaetti. He helped the Cardinals win a division title 2 years ago and to become a favorite here. Hard-nosed player. And he has been a great pickup for the Cubs, trying to help them get into October. And that's ball 1. Joe, you mentioned the players not quite sure how to react because certainly the Cubs players in the field were excited to be a part of the great moment. Barry Larkin, the veteran of the Cincinnati Reds who were in here over the weekend, had many of the young guys seek his counsel as Gaetti drives one in the left, but he hit it off the end of the bat, and Gant on the warning track for out number 1. Gaetti didn't miss by very much in hitting that one out of here.
Well, John, I was on the field when Hank Aaron hit home run number 714 to tie Babe Ruth's career record, and he's trotted toward second base. I had mixed emotions about what I should say or do, and I, you know, made eye contact with him, and I just kind of nodded, you know, congratulations, but I did not want to, you know, embarrass my teammate, the pitcher, who had just given up the home run. So it is a tough thing to do.
Here is Mickey Morandini.
You want to salute the guy for what he did because you, first and foremost, as another player and another professional, you appreciate what he has done. But by the same token, first and foremost, this is still a team game.
And that's a strike, 0-2. Well, Barry Larkin advised his young Reds teammates, and this is what you're saying. He said, don't make a spectacle of yourself. If you're close to him and he wants to shake your hand, shake it. Don't do anything to affect the integrity of the game. I mean, you're still out there as opponents battling each other. That's a foul off the left field line.
And it's easy to get caught up in the moment, you know, when something like that happens. But again, this is a team game.
I caught number 57. Big Mac hit me 62. He's not satisfied with just number 57. And back to the bag is Glenn Allen Hill. 1-0. The Cardinals lead in the second inning on McGwire's laser beam of a home run. Delano DeShields will go to first. Out number 2. Well, that home run landed in the stands in left field. Let's find out who's got it. Here's Dave Campbell.
Thanks, John. Mike Davidson is the young man's name. You want to show us the ball? What's it got? A special number? Must be infrared. In your own seats, how long have you had the tickets?
Well, they're my brother-in-law's seats. He just gave them to me because he's working today. He's got season tickets for the past 3 years.
What are you going to do with it?
Give it back.
Who to?
Mark McGwire.
What a guy. You want anything for it?
No, not really.
All right, Mike, congratulations. You get it on the rebound. How hard did you have to fight for it?
It just rolled underneath the seat, and I just picked it up and held on to it for dear life.
Get your pack of Lucky Charms, John.
All right, Dave, congratulations. And I like to hear that.
I know you do. I'm not in complete agreement, but that's, you know, that's what makes a horse race.
Well, he may have some friends and neighbors and even family who say, "You schmuck, you could have sold that for a fortune." And there he is. It fell into the seat, and he picked it up. And then they piled on. He looked like a quarterback as the gun was going off, Joe. He just fell on the ball and wrapped it up.
Well, I think the interesting thing and the fun thing for me is that when someone has secured the balls in the past, you know, the people have stopped scrambling and let him, you know, be the hero.
2-0 the count. Scott Service, the hitter, runner at second. Cubs need a base hit to tie this game. To strike over the outside. The pitcher, Mike Morgan, would be next. Well, when Maris hit number 61, a young kid named Sal Durante, about 20 years old, he was the one who ended up with the ball. And a restaurateur from Northern California had in advance offered $5,000 for the ball. Sal Durante was brought down to meet Roger Maris at Yankee Stadium after the game, and he offered the ball back to Roger instead of going for the money. But Maris handed the ball back to him and said, "You keep it. Maybe you can make some money with it."
And that's exactly what Sammy Sosa did. You know, a guy brought the ball to him. Sammy signed it and gave it back to him.
Yeah. Actually, a woman in Chicago.
Yeah, and I think that's great. I mean, I see that's the way I look at it. I mean, I think that, as Sammy said, the ball means more to you than it would to me. You know, but that wasn't number 61 or 2. That was.
Well, it was the all-time. Actually, it tied the Cubs record at Wrigley Field. It was a great story because the woman who works for the Chicago Tribune had brought her glove to the game and also had a little sign that said, "Sammy, hit number 56 to me and I'll give it back to you." And a few moments later, he hit it to her. She caught it. Service down the left field line. Gant on the move. He's got it. One man left. 1-0. Mark McGwire has hit number 61 here in St. Louis.
It's not your typical love story.
You and me, no matter how they toss the dice, I'm going to find you and kill you. And you for me, so happy together.
David Caruso.
That's really like her man.
Kelly Lynch.
Do it!
Gold around the heart.
Jump on for this twisted ride all this month on Cinemax and Cox Cable.
Currently on display at Sterling BMW's beautiful two-story showroom. Orange County's finest collection of BMWs in every color and style. Come test drive the ultimate driving machine and discover for yourself just how affordable perfection can be. With a number of special leasing and financing programs available, you'll save plenty of silver dollars at Sterling BMW, located at 3000 West Pacific Coast Highway in beautiful Newport Beach.
San Juan Capistrano, you'll discover Taylor Woodrow's elegantly crafted Bellasaire homes. These beautiful homes feature outstanding appliances like Sub-Zero, Thermador, and KitchenAid. Naturally, the appliances are from Pacific Sales, where the kitchen and bath experts help you choose from the biggest appliance display in Southern California. Pacific Sales, the world's best appliances at the lowest prices.
Bill Pito back in the studio. The scene at Shea when they saw that McGwire hit number 61. They saw it on the Jumbotron, and the place, as you might expect, went bananas. Mets in the dugout, clapping their hands right now. A rain delay in the top of the fourth, with the Mets up 4-0.
So the Mets have a big lead there at Shea, but the same thing happening at Shea virtually that was happening here. The fans erupted in a huge ovation upon getting a look at Big Mac hitting number 61. And of course, that shot was from New York.
And you can see the players there can voice their opinion and show that they enjoyed it because they're not, involved in the game here.
Yeah. Of course, the Mets are hoping that McGwire hits like 5 or 6 home runs today against the Cubs. They're one game back of the Cubs in the wild card battle. Here is Placido Polanco, the rookie shortstop for the Cardinals, to bat against Mike Morgan. 1-0. The Cardinals lead a McGwire's home run. I was in Los Angeles over the weekend, and on Saturday, at least 3 hours after McGwire had hit number 60 here, between innings at Dodger Stadium, they ran a videotape on the big board in left field of McGwire hitting the home run. And Polanco is thrown out by Hernandez. There is one away. Immediately when McGwire appeared on the screen, Dodger Stadium erupted in an ovation. Then when he hit the home run, 3 hours later, I mean the videotape of him hitting the home run, Dodger Stadium erupted just as if it had happened there. So that's a place where they don't love the Cardinals. They don't love the opposition. Shea Stadium, a hostile enemy place if you're the opposition. But the country and beyond the country captivated by McGwire and Sosa. Darren Oliver, the pitcher. Hard to Grace, but a nice pickup. He made it look easier than it was, I think. 2 down.
John, I want to read your statement. You talk about class, and I agree with you. That young fella out there in left field has class. I want to read something that Felipe Alou said, and I've always known that Felipe Alou had a lot of class. He says, the game of baseball is more important than keeping any one player from a record. He said you should never interfere with the integrity of the game. It's sacred, and it's up to all of us who put on a major league uniform to make sure the game stays above all else. And I guess the point there is that, you have to go ahead and play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And I like that. And I think that's kind of tells you a lot about Felipe Alou, just the way that he thinks as a manager. His job is to still keep the integrity of the game at the forefront. Not just go out there and walk McGwire and don't pitch to him and, make a farce of the game.
Eli Marrero, the hitter. 2 down, nobody on. Mike Morgan delivers, and Marrero goes deep into left field, and that one is gone. On the day where McGwire hit his 61st, Eli Marrero, the man they think will be the catcher here for a good many years to come, hits his 4th.
Yeah, but the great thing, John, is the box score will be there. This box score is going to go up to Cooperstown, and, it's going to be around for a long time. The box score from this game will have Marrero hitting a home run. So you still want to perform on this day. Just because Mark McGwire is going to overshadow you doesn't really take away from your performance.
Delano DeShields grounds out. So to be in the lineup with him, an honor. But to be right next to him in the home run column in that box score, that's special.
Falling in love again, never wanted to. What am I to do? I can't help it. Love's always been my game. Play it how I may. I
Ma'am, you ordered a pizza?
Yes, I did.
Let's go, boys.
Everybody in the pizza business is looking for a way to deliver oven-fresh pizza. Domino's has a better idea.
Man, we'll need that back.
The new Domino's Heatwave, the only delivery bag that's like a portable oven. Now Domino's pizza is hotter, bubblier, and more delicious than ever. Get a large with up to 3 toppings for just $9.99. Domino's, delivering a million smiles a day.
He was an ace player who gave up cards to go to law school. But just when his life was coming together...
I gotta go.
Come on, I'll be really quick. You won't feel a thing. His best friend got in trouble with the mob.
25 grand or I start breaking things. You're fixing to go down hard.
Now, he's got to play the game of his life to save him.
I can't stay for this.
He's like my brother. Deal.
Matt Damon, Edward Norton, and introducing Gretchen Mol. Rounders, rated R. Starts Friday in theaters everywhere.
The beast, Milwaukee's best.
It's the Colts and the Patriots on ESPN Sunday Night Football. Peyton Manning against Drew Bledsoe. ESPN Sunday Night Football. Coverage begins at 8:15.
Now that sounds like a great game. I don't want to miss it.
Cardinals 2, Cubs nothing. McGwire 61, Sosa 58. Sammy Sosa would be due up 5th here in the 3rd inning. And there it's posted on the hand-operated scoreboard, which also features the out-of-town scores in baseball here at Busch Stadium. And you see the Mets leading Atlanta 4-0. That game is in a rain delay now. Mike Morgan hits one deep into center. Langford way back there. It's over his head and up into the Botanical Gardens. An automatic double for Mike Morgan. And that one stunned Ray Langford, who was playing real shallow out there.
Well, everybody's got power on their mind today.
Mike Morgan now is 3 for 3 as a Cub. He didn't hit all year in Minnesota. Those have been his only 3 at-bats of the whole season. Now Lance Johnson. Cubs having to play catch-up here. Strike on the outside. Shallow center. Delano DeShields will let Langford take it. One gone. And now Jose Hernandez will come up. Sammy Sosa from the small town of San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic. When he was 7 years of age, his father died. And Sammy was the 5th of 11 children. He has 8 brothers and 2 sisters. So when he was 7 years old, the family, the mother and all of those children, left to fend for themselves, and everybody worked, including Sammy, who became a shoe shine boy, got 20 cents per shoe shine. And one of his older brothers encouraged him when he was about 14 to play baseball. Sammy didn't like baseball that much. He was too busy working anyway. But they were playing in a back lot one day, and his brother saw something in his swing. And he said, hey, I think he's got something. That is booted by Polanco. And Hernandez is safe on the error. So his brother said, come on, I'm going to put you in this league because you're the one of us who has a chance to make it.
Ground ball is shortstop. He doesn't get in front of it. And the ball gets away from shortstop.
So 2 men on, and now Mark Grace is up. And unless Grace hits a double play, Sosa would follow him. So the big hitters are up now for the Cubs with 2 men on, 1 man out in the 3rd inning. And that's a ball. So Sosa, inspired by the idea that maybe he could make it and bring some serious money into the family, then, at the urging of his brother, pursued baseball. They had no money for a glove or for shoes. He used a stick for a bat and a halved milk carton for a glove. He'd just use it until it would fall apart and they'd get another milk carton. says he was a young guy, had not played much ball, and the way Sammy puts it, he says, I got everything from God. I started playing well, and 2 years later he was signed by the Texas Rangers at age 16. Mark McGwire. That is out number 2, and now Sammy Sosa will come up with 2 men on and first base open.
And the Cardinals fans really have showed a lot of class here, you know, by the reception they're giving Sammy Sosa. I mean, it's just amazing. But I think the Cardinal fans have always been big baseball fans first.
And this is, for all these many years, been one of the great rivalries, not just in baseball, but in all of sports. 2 great franchises dating back into the 19th century. 2 natural rivals for more than 100 years. And there's ball 1 to Sammy Sosa. He fouled out to McGwire his first time.
And they're booing on a ball to Sammy Sosa like they boo if you throw a ball to Mark McGwire. But you mentioned there are probably a lot of Cubs fans here.
Beautiful pitch by Oliver over the outside. A base hit to the outfield could tie the game. And remember, Sosa has 140 runs batted in. Morgan at third base, Hernandez at second base. 2-0 St. Louis. Way outside, 2-1. Now, this is no time to be fooling around with Sammy Sosa.
Well, I agree. But, I mean, you still feel like it's early in the ball game. You try to get him out because the more people you put on base, John, the more times you turn over the lineup. So, from a pitcher's perspective, you try to get everyone out. And it's still early in the ball game. I don't think they would pitch to him in the 7th or the 8th inning.
And the man on deck has pretty good power, Glenn Allen Hill. High and foul off the right field line. And there's one of the differences, too, Joe, between McGwire and Sosa. Sosa will hit a home run to right field, and in fact has hit several. In fact, this week, his last 3 home runs, have gone the other way. 2 in Pittsburgh over the weekend.
But I think the reason for that is that Sosa's not as strong as McGwire. In fact, I don't know who is, but and so the ball's away from him. He can't pull it back and hit it over the center field wall like McGwire can. So he has to go with the pitch if it's out there.
Ooh, curveball got him looking. The big hammer from Darren Oliver. Sosa is 0 for 2. McGwire coming up second.
Get back in place.
What if I don't like my place?
On October 2nd,
We got us a troublemaker.
see the world
Buckle up, Spanky.
from a whole new perspective.
You want to watch that aggressive behavior.
Ants, rated PG.
We're supposed to be social insects.
For 100 years, Biv the Michelin Man has symbolized our never-ending quest to invent the best tires in the world. Michelin, celebrating 100 years of innovation.
Let's go up that curvy road next.
Anything you say, sir.
Man, it was so much easier when he rode in the limo. New Infiniti Q45. Own one, and you'll understand. Who's gonna break Maris's mark and hit 62 out of the park? The race is on. Keep your eyes on the ball. McGwire. Sosa. Griffey. They've got their eyes on the ball. Baseball history is in the making. Who's gonna crush 62 before the season is through? It could happen at a ballpark near you. Don't miss a home run. Don't miss a minute. Keep pace with the race. Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com.
Sammy Sosa is 0 for 2, a foul out, and he was called out on strikes, and a big sweeping curveball from Darren Oliver here in the 3rd inning.
Well, John, I said this about 3 weeks ago on the air that neither McGwire, Sosa, or Griffey get any special treatment, you know, from the umpires. And in fact, McGwire was kicked out of a ball game because he argued over a pitch.
McGwire due up second here in the last of the 3rd inning. Brian Jordan, Mark McGwire, Ray Langford, the 3 big sluggers for the Cardinals. Matt McGwire who was the first to meet Dad when he crossed the plate with number 61.
Let's take a look at this pitch, and we'll see if, like you said, John, it's a pretty good pitch. Looks like a good pitch to me. Big sweeping breaking ball, as you said. We're looking at a little angle there in the outfield, but it looked like a pretty good pitch. It was high enough.
There's ball one to Jordan. Plus, he had not seen one of those yet from Oliver.
Yeah.
Oliver's got a pretty good arm.
He's matching his stuff against Sosa's strength. Good fastball, good breaking ball. But all of it is hard. Most of his pitches are going to be hard. And if you're a hitter, that's what you want.
Mark McGwire on deck. Now 3 ahead of Sosa in the home run race. Tied with Maris. 1 away from the record that some thought might never be broken. And the Babe, when he hit 60 in 27, people didn't make that big a deal out of it because they assumed, oh, he'll hit 65 or 70 next year. Because the Babe, it seemed like there were no bounds to what he could do.
Plus, he was in class all by himself. I mean, no one else was even close to being able to do it year in and year out like he was.
Only his own teammate, Lou Gehrig, who was only 24 that year, had emerged as any kind of competitor for him.
John, if you look back, the thing that has made, these guys great is, Ruth had Gehrig, Maris had Mantle, and Sosa and McGwire have each other. I think they really help push each other to these heights that they've attained.
3-2. McGwire on deck. Babe Ruth started his major league career as a pitcher, and he was one of the best pitchers in the American League as a Boston Red Sox. Mark McGwire went to college as a pitcher. And a curveball got him looking. And now McGwire. The new ball's put in play with the special marking on it. So now he has equaled Maris. The next one, and the record belongs to McGwire, at least for now. Ball 1.
The fans definitely do not want him to take a walk.
2-0. Everybody in the Cubs dugout right there at the railing to get a good close view. Base hit. Gaetti. It was hit so sharply, waved at it, couldn't get it.
Well, he kind of stumbled over that way a little bit, and then the hop was such an in-between hop, he didn't really have a chance. Well, you see the target low and away. It's fastball down, but it's over the middle of the plate. And watch Gaetti. See, it's the hop right there, the skid. It kind of skidded. That's the reason he wasn't able to make the play.
Ray Langford. McGwire at first. And that's a ball.
And John, if anybody wonders, Mark McGwire does all of his damage with a 34.5-inch, 33-ounce bat. And Sammy Sosa uses a 34.5-inch, 32-ounce bat. Interesting story about McGwire's bat. I played for the Oakland A's in 1984 along with Davey Lopes. So when the season was over, they sent all of our bats down to the instructional league, and Mark McGwire was down there. And he picked mine up. He says, too small, threw it away. Picked up Davey Lopes, and he said, this feels perfect. And he's used the Davey Lopes bat ever since that time.
Nice pickup at second. And Morandini throws out Ray Langford. McGwire takes second. We're talking about the bats that they use. There's Sosa's bat, McGwire's, and also the one that Roger Maris used the day he hit number 61.
Well, the interesting thing is that they're all relatively thin handle bats with a medium barrel. They're all pretty similar. Sammy Sosa often uses, a black bat, but they're all very similar.
Well, Sosa said lately he's been using Glenn Allen Hill's bat. And Glenn Allen Hill. Well, that one hits Ron Gant, and the bases are loaded. I beg your pardon. First and second. That was the coach over there at first base, not a base runner. Dave McKay, the coach over there. So, although he was standing in the bag, he was not actually a runner.
Well, Ron Gant really doesn't have any place to go here. Gets him right in the middle of the back. He just kind of turns away. Pitch way off the plate inside.
Glenn Allen Hill says, hey, he's using my bat, but I'm not going to take any credit for anything that he's doing. He says, although I would like to see my bat end up in Cooperstown.
Well, Davey Lopes told McGwire, he says, it didn't work that well for me anyway. I'm glad you can use it. Davey Lopes once hit 27 or 28 home runs in a season.
Got 28, I believe, in 1979. Coaching with the San Diego Padres. 2 on, 2 out. The Cardinals already leading 2-0.
And a guy that I think should be a manager.
Fernando Tatis, a right-handed hitter. Very young. Also from the Dominican Republic. And he made a point of going over to chat with Sammy Sosa before the game during batting practice. 3-0 the count, and Morgan really struggling here suddenly. This guy become a tough out since coming to the Cardinals, by the way. Tatis has hit .289 for St. Louis. 5 home runs in 128 at-bats before today. And he gets a 4-pitch walk. The bases are loaded for Placido Polanco. Phil Regan, the pitching coach, is heading out to the mound. McGwire at third, Gant at second. Tatis goes over to first. And the Cubs bullpen is getting busy. That is Dave Stevens, a right-hander, up in the bullpen. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan on Labor Day 1998, and wherever you are, if you've got some traveling to do later today, we hope you'll drive safely, and we're certainly happy that we're able to spend part of this holiday with you as we look in on Major League Baseball history. McGwire has hit number 61. That's a strike. We understand in a rain delay at Shea Stadium that they've been showing this game on the big screen there. Mets fans, of course, very much involved in what happens to the Cubs because the Cubs lead the wild card race right now. Placido Polanco takes the ball. Polanco came into the game hitting .286 in his 98 Major League at-bats. So Mike Morgan now pitching for survival. He's already down 2-0, and the Cardinals had the bases loaded. So the slider, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, there you can see why a lot of people think that Tatis is going to be, Polanco is going to be a good player because he has a very quick bat, goes to the ball pretty well, and they figure he's going to really improve as he gets some experience here in the major leagues. Although a lot of the rumors around here have the Cardinals pursuing Barry Larkin when the season is over.
Ball 2. They tried to get him during this season, and Walt Jocketty, the GM of the Cardinals, said that he and the Reds GM Jim Bowden just could not get together on an equitable trade, or at least one that Jocketty could live with. That is just foul. Almost a base hit with a couple of runs scoring, but just barely foul. Mike Winters, the third base umpire, making the call.
Well, he went out to get the slider away, so he comes inside with a fastball. You see him pull it sharply down the line, but it's outside the bag as it passes the bag. Remember, if it goes over any part of the bag, the left-hand corner, any part of it, it's a fair ball.
And it goes to 3-2. By the way, we watch Mark McGwire, one of the former Bash brothers from Oakland, did his 61st. Jose Canseco in Toronto for the Red Hot Blue Jays hit his 41st today, a 3-run shot against Cleveland. Runners go. Gaetti in time. The Cardinals leave him loaded, and the Cubs are still right in this one. 2-0 St. Louis after 3.
The Blimpie Blast. 6 feet of choice meats, real dairy cheese, freshly baked bread, enough to satisfy up to 40 people. Or just one. Blimpie, it's a beautiful thing.
That's me, Bill. Here we are at the Super 8.
For reservations, call 1-800-800-8000.
It starts here. It starts here. It also starts here and here. And it all starts right here at Walmart, home of the EverStart battery. All the coal cranking power your truck, car, boat, or more will ever need. Power you can count on when you need it most. And since it's at Walmart, you can also count on a good price. EverStart. The name says it all.
This ESPN Major League Baseball special is brought to you by EverStart Battery. All the cold cranking power your truck, car, boat, or mower will ever need. Available at Walmart. On a hot, humid day in St. Louis, Mark McGwire has equaled Roger Maris with 61 homers. Dave Campbell is with the Maris family.
Thank you. I'm talking to Kevin, third oldest son, and Kev, I saw McGwire when he was coming into the dugout. He pointed right at your family.
Yeah, it looked like he to us, and that was the way it looked to us. You know, Dad, and you know, he thanked us really.
And we apologize for some technical problems with that microphone as Glenn Allen Hill stands in. We get the problems figured out. Perhaps we'll go back for a visit with Kevin Maris. And that was interesting, Joe. Said it was obvious to them that he was acknowledging them.
Well, and
right toward them.
I think he has a great appreciation for the accomplishments that Roger Maris attained. I mean, I think he realizes how difficult it was for Roger Maris, far more difficult than it was for him and Sammy Sosa to chase Maris's record. You know, when you're Roger Maris, you're chasing Babe Ruth, who is a Yankee, and your closest pursuer is Mickey Mantle, who is maybe one of the greatest Yankees of all time. You know, people really are not pulling for you.
Polanco and Hill is out number 1.
And I mean, there was a lot of pressure on Maris. I mean, you know, I'm told that the Yankees really didn't do a lot to help him in those years. That, you know, newspaper people had access to his locker. They could just come in at any time and see him. And there was just a lot of pressure on the guy and a lot of stress. And, you know, the thing about McGwire and Sosa and Griffin, anyone that's chasing the record now, everyone is pulling for them. And that makes a big difference.
Gary Gaetti, the hitter. was a great interview that they did a story about Julie Isaacson, Big Julie, who was a very close friend of Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle. And he drove Roger Maris to the ballpark the day that he hit number 61. That's a fair ball by Gaetti. Gant gives chase. Gaetti will easily make it into second with a double. But he hit number 61, and then they went out to dinner afterward. And while they were at dinner, a guy came right over to their table. It was Julie Isaacson, his wife, Roger Maris. And the guy said, "Roger, personally, I don't like you that much, but would you sign an autograph for my kid?"
Well, I mean, that puts a guy in a tough position.
Well, the way Big Julie told it in the USA Today, Roger just kept eating his steak, and Big Julie popped him right in the nose. So he did his best Sonny Liston. 1 ball and no strikes to Mickey Morandini. Then he went across the street after they had dinner. There was a Catholic church, and he wanted to go to the midnight mass. So they went over, went into the church. The priest who was conducting the mass found out Maris was there and announced it to everybody in the church that Maris was there. At which point, Maris, unable to even be alone with his prayers for a moment, got up and left.
Well, I think the Maris family is hoping that all the attention that's being brought to their father and showing how nice a person he really was and the character that he had will help, maybe hopefully get him maybe into the Hall of Fame.
That's out number 2. Morandini is gone. Well, we talked about Maris and the obstacles and the pressures that he felt before he died. Here's what he said.
After the ball game, it made it difficult because I sat there until the last writer filtered in and went out. There was no organized period of a half hour, an hour, an hour and a half. Hell, some days I was there 3-4 hours after a ball game, just sitting there with interviews, and it did get grueling. That really hurt.
That's the point I'm talking about. The Yankees didn't help him by structuring as the Cardinals have done. Mark McGwire has a time for his press conference. It lasts a certain length of time, then he leaves. But I'm told that, as Roger just said, that he sat in the clubhouse for 2 and 3 hours after the game and answered every question until it was over. And the Maris family is saying, look, they just wish their dad could have had the same kind of
That's a nice catch by Brian Jordan, who's got great speed and great range out there. Service robbed of a hit. The Cubs robbed of a run. 2-0, St. Louis.
A&E original premiere event.
I love somebody else.
In a world bound by tradition, she dared to be different, to go her own way, whatever the cost.
If you're any man's wife, you're mine.
Tess of the D'Urbervilles premieres Sunday, September 13th at 9 Eastern, 10 Pacific on A&E.
Take my name and escape your own.
Compelling classic entertainment brought to you by A&E and Cox Cable.
Why should you join Cox at Home's cable internet revolution?
It's amazingly fast, blindingly fast.
I like to think of it as the difference between running in quicksand and rollerblading.
I can get right on and I can get to what I need to get to.
I would recommend it to everybody. I can't imagine not having it.
Get the internet at speeds 100 times faster with Cox at Home today.
One official Major League Baseball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, new ball, new ball, $9. New windshield, $100. 62, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Official card of Major League Baseball and believer that records were made to be broken.
Cardinals 2, Cubs 0. John Miller and Joe Morgan with you from St. Louis. Mark McGwire in the first inning wasted little time in getting a share of Major League history as he homered in his first at-bat before the huge crowd. I mean, just electrified the sellout crowd here Today's Skyview coverage from the Bud 1 airship, brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. We're glad to have them with us here near the shores of the great Mississippi. And the great McGwire has hit one today. Roger Maris, it was announced by then Commissioner Ford Frick, who was an old friend of the Babes, that if he did not hit 60 or 61 in 154 games, which was the length of the schedule in Ruth's day, he would not be considered to have a part of or have broken the Babes record. Since then, that so-called asterisk was removed from the official baseball record book by then Commissioner Fay Vincent, because after all, the record is most home runs in a season. As Darren Oliver is at bat, there's the current commissioner, Bud Selig, in attendance today, as well he should be, which conspicuously 24 years ago, then Commissioner Bowie Kuhn was not in attendance the day that Hank Aaron passed the Babes all-time career home run record.
And that always bothered Hank, too.
24 years later, it bothers me.
Yeah, I agree with you. It bothered me at the time. It still does.
And down on strikes is Darren Oliver.
Because no matter what we ever say, whatever people think, the players are still the game. The players are the game, no one else. And I mean, you come to see the players.
And you saw the commissioner, Bud Selig, down there, and close by him in the commissioner's box, the legendary Stan Musial. There's Stan leaning around the railing, talking with Commissioner Selig. Stan the man. They just unveiled a new statue of Stan Musial outside Busch Stadium this weekend. And not only a great player, Joe, but a great guy. And talk about down to earth. He was at the microphone before the big crowd before the game. They unveiled the statue and all that sort of thing. He said a few words and then he broke out his harmonica and led everybody in singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
But his greatest accomplishment is the Wabash Cannonball. You ought to hear him play that.
Well, that's probably just for you fellow immortals up there.
Yeah, he plays it every year at Cooperstown. And we look forward to hearing him play it.
Stan Musial.
How did he get the nickname the man? I'm going to ask you. You're a historian.
I don't even pretend to know all those inside things of what goes on up there in Cooperstown when you immortals meet there in baseball's Olympus.
Well, it's ironic that they're playing the Cubs because a Cub fan gave him that nickname.
A Cub fan?
Yeah, after he'd beaten up on the Cubs for 3 games, and he came out and he said, "There's the man." And from then on, he was known as Stan the Man. There's Lou Brock, another fellow Hall of Famer, with Stan Musial.
Cubs fans still remember Lou Brock for Ernie Broglio. The Cubs traded Lou Brock to the Cardinals, and every Cub fan will tell you that's the worst trade in Cubs history.
Here you go, John. You might get a ball. No?
I got it.
Bob Gibson was here last time. Red Schoendienst is here. I mean, the Cardinal history, I mean, this is, you know, one of the real storied franchises in the history of Major League Baseball. So they have a lot of great Hall of Famers that are always around, and it's one of the reasons this is such a great baseball town.
It's a walk for Eli Marrero, who homered his last time. Let's go back now to Dave Campbell.
With Kevin Maris, Kevin looked like when McGwire hit the home run, crossed the plate, shook hands, and then he pointed right at the box to the Maris family.
Yeah, acknowledged it, and you know, he tapped his heart and looked like you know, he's saying Dad was in his heart, and that shows a lot of respect for the family, what Dad did. And Mark's a heck of a guy.
Mark said that he's a spiritual guy and he looks forward to talking to your dad someday in heaven. That ought to be quite a conversation.
Hey, you can't get any better than that one right there.
Yeah, thanks for the visit.
Thank you.
Okay, John.
Kevin Maris, and you can see a lot of his dad there. He got the same kind of a haircut that Roger Maris fashioned the year he won, or he hit the 61 home runs.
And he does that, you know, in honor of his father.
Delano de Shields in the right field, Sammy Sosa. And that is out number 2.
And also, you know, the Maris family has said that, you know, they didn't want anyone to break the record, and that's personal. They said, but they could not have come up with a better script if it was going to be broken than to have two guys like McGwire and Sosa chasing it. Two really good guys who really care about people and who really do a lot, you know, for other people.
Here is Brian Jordan. If he can reach base, Mark McGwire can get another shot to bat here. McGwire's had 2 at-bats in the first 3 innings. They've had a lot of base runners in this game, which will give McGwire a chance to have maybe an extra plate appearance or 2. Jordan has lined to left and has been called out on strikes. The Cubs bullpen is busy again. We're in the 4th inning. The Cardinals are leading 2-0. And the count is 0-2. Rodney Myers, a right-hander, is up in the Cubs bullpen here in the 4th inning. 2 down. McGwire on deck. Middle, but behind second was Morandini. The long throw in the dirt, pulled out by Grace, and that will keep McGwire from coming up with 2 men on. Big play by Grace. 2-0 Cardinals after 4.
Here's some hot news from Domino's. The new Domino's Heat Wave, the first bag that works like a portable oven, delivering hotter, tastier pizza to your door and a bigger smile to your face. Now a large with up to 3 toppings is just $9.99.
You know those too old, too small, never should have been bought suits hanging in the back of your closet? Trade them in and take $100 off any suit. No exceptions.
Right now, trade in an old suit and Joseph A. Bank will give you $100 off any suit or any sport coat with dress trousers. There are no exceptions. The Joseph A. Bank trade-in sale. $100 off any suit or sport coat with dress trousers.
Hole 3 of the Cooper Tire Invitational, a long par 10,000 from Seattle over the Continental Divide to Minneapolis. Our leader lying 7,012. Bill, how did he get there?
Well, Jim, Arnold's gotten through some rough terrain, thanks in part to his Cooper tires. Then that nice run, keeping it left along the Canadian border. Arnold, what's in store for the rest of the hole?
Got to clear those giant heads. The Cooper tires will do the job. The world is your course. Drive on.
When I first got into my Tiburon, it absolutely changed what I thought about Hyundai. It's very exciting to drive it. It looks very sharp. It just reminds me of more action and adventure. You know, my boss saw it and he kind of looked at it like, how can you afford to pay for that car? Just taking off on the road with the windows down, people will look over like, hey, what kind of car is that? I'm proud of it. If you're in the market to buy a car, you should go in and test drive it.
Bristol students are serious football fans, and they can get pretty upset when things don't go their way. There was no darker day in Bristol's history than when the Broncos changed their uniforms.
NFL Countdown, Sundays at 11, Mondays at 6:30 on ESPN.
2-0, the Cardinals lead the Cubs as we go to the top of the 5th inning here in St. Louis. Coming up, a new time for Monday Night Football on ABC Sports this year, 8 Eastern. Join Al Michaels, Dan Deerdorf, and Boomer Esiason as Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots take on John Elway and the world champion Denver Broncos. That's tonight, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Mike Morgan against Darren Oliver. Quickly, the count goes to 0-2. Morgan whacked a double over the head of Ray Langford in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 1. Leadoff man Lance Johnson on deck.
John, I heard the call of, Jack Buck's call of McGwire's 60th home run the other day. And at the end of the call, he said, "Wake up, babe, you got company."
Jack Buck. You mentioned all of those great former Cardinals, and there's another Cardinal Hall of Famer.
And Jack, of course, last time we were here, they dedicated a statue outside, yeah,
just outside the front door.
Yeah, right outside the front in his familiar pose of broadcasting with his one finger in the ear. He's kind of changed a little bit there, John. He's gone to the headset.
That's a foul out of play. Jack Buck.
But you know what? I heard Marty Brenneman, who was working the radio for the Cincinnati Reds, call too, and it was great. I think both of them did a fantastic job with that, as you did with number 61. So you guys have a special place in history now. You play-by-play guys.
With Marty Brenneman and Jack Buck. That's two of my favorites right
Mine
there.
too.
Sammy Sosa would be due up 5th in this inning. We've got to get a couple of men on base to get Sosa up there. Lance Johnson will come up now. It is 2-0. St. Louis is leading. They're still in a rain delay, meanwhile, at Shea Stadium, where the Mets had a 4-0 lead over Atlanta through 3 innings. The Mets will be anxious to see that rain go away, because that is not yet an official game. If they win it, they would have taken 3 out of 4 from Atlanta. That's supposed to be one of the things that was working against them. They had 7 games left with Atlanta, but they have more than held their own with the Braves this weekend. Chance to win the series. That's a ball. 3-0. And they maybe get a little break today. Denny Nagel unable to go.
Well, there are a lot of teams that are coming to the forefront in the National League, but I still think that you're going to have to go through Atlanta to get to the World Series.
3-1 the count. Three and 2 now. Jose Hernandez on deck. Tony La Russa, Mark McGwire's manager when he broke into the big leagues, and his manager when McGwire makes history.
It's been a bittersweet season for Tony. I talked to him last week, and he said, it's bittersweet. It's great that McGwire is chasing a record, and some of the other individuals, Langford, Jordan, are having great individual seasons, but he's very, very disappointed, in the team, because this is the second year in a row that they've been picked to do well, and they've not, had good seasons. So I think that, the Cardinals are going to have to bounce back next year as a team.
Mark McGwire hit number 61 in the first.
And you can see that the pitch was supposed to be down and away, but it was a fastball in the middle of the plate. And when you get the ball in the middle of the plate and down, most of the time you're not going to get it back if he's at the plate. But the thing I've always said that separates him from the other home run hitters is that he can hit a perfect pitch out of the ballpark. He does not have to hit mistakes to hit home runs. Most of the other sluggers will feast on the pitcher's mistakes, but he can hit any pitch out of the ballpark.
McGwire will be leading off for the Cardinals in the last half of this inning. He has a homer and a single so far today. The single, something that has occurred less often for McGwire than his home runs. He's got 61 homers, as we all know, and he has 53 singles. And that's pretty unusual.
Well, he says he doesn't get paid to hit singles, John.
I guess not.
Hey, he said, hey, singles hitters drive Fords, home run hitters drive Cadillacs.
Who said that?
That's what they told me when I first came into the big leagues, but it's never worked that way.
Ralph Kiner said that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, Nellie Fox passed it along to me.
So you developed that home run stroke?
No, I just didn't listen to him. Hey, Nellie Fox was driving a Cadillac anyway.
One out, Johnson at first. Jose Hernandez has got some pop. And this Cubs team has hit 184 home runs this year. This has been one of the great Cubs power teams, led by Sosa, obviously, they've ever had. But the Cardinals, obviously, with McGwire match up pretty well. The Cardinals have hit 190 home runs. Not many National League teams can match up with the Cubs' power. Sammy Sosa got 58, holding his bat in the dugout. He's ready to go. But they need to get somebody else on base here. Mark Grace on deck. Darren Oliver kept them off the board up till now. 1 ball, 1 strike. But 14 of McGwire's last 24 hits have been home runs.
Well, that one stretch there in Florida, he hit 4 out of 4 home runs in 5 at bats.
And Sosa hit a homer earlier each one of those days, and both nights McGwire answered with 2 home runs. That's a foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jose Hernandez. You know, we're talking about Roger Maris, and we keep talking about the most home runs ever hit. In the minor leagues, there was once a guy named Joe Bauman, who still lives in Roswell, New Mexico. 1954, Joe Bauman hit 72 home runs for the Roswell Rockets in a Class C league, the Longhorn League. And in 1955, a guy by the name of Bob Lennon hit 64 home runs. And he played in the same league and was one day asked for some advice about pulling the ball with power by a guy playing in that league named Roger Maris. So Maris's path crossed that of a guy who hit 64 home runs one year and actually got a little bit of advice from that big minor league home run hitter. A guy named Joe Hauser, playing for Baltimore in the International League in 1930, hit 63 homers. That's a ball down and in, almost hit him in the foot. Well, Dick Stewart, remember Dick Stewart?
Yeah, Dr. Strangeglove.
Yeah, 1956, playing for Lincoln, hit 66 home runs. Of course, he went on to hit more than 200 big league homers. Tony Lazzari, who was Ruth's teammate in 1927 when he hit 60, and a great player in his own right. That was down the left field line. Gant into the corner, and it's foul. Lazzari hit 60 for Salt Lake City in the Pacific Coast League in 1925. Tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, an ESPN Classic Sports original documentary, Roger Maris, Reluctant Hero. Through interviews, rare footage, and archival interviews with Maris himself, this one will reveal the man behind one of the most famous records in sports, Roger Maris, Reluctant Hero, tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. You can't be there to see it. I suggest setting your VCR for it. Well, Hernandez chased one there that might have hit the dirt if he hadn't hit it. 2-2 the count.
John, it's 60-plus home runs is a great number, even if you're playing in Little League or wherever you're playing. But I only watch big league records. I only count big league records. But that's a great accomplishment.
That's because you're in the Hall of Fame.
No. I just only count big league records. But I think those are great accomplishments.
Caught at short by Polanco. And Johnson had to hold at first base. Now, had he short-hopped that ball, it surely would have started an inning-ending double play. But he caught it, and that brings up Grace. If Grace can get on base, Sammy Sosa will get a shot at it here. 2-0. The Cardinals are leading the Cubs in the top of the 5th inning. Grace has flied to left and grounded to first. There's Sammy Sosa on deck, hoping to bat here in the 5th inning. Hot, muggy day in St. Louis, although they say relief is on its way. By tonight, it will be significantly cooler. The low will be 58 tonight, they say.
You just brought up the point. They need to get the Cubs out here in the top of the 5th to make this an official ball game.
It's not official yet.
So McGwire's home run becomes official with one more Cub out.
There goes Johnson again, picked off. McGwire throws to second. Polanco tags him out.
Now he's in the record book.
It's official. And McGwire is coming up.
Home Depot is very serious about paint. We want to be your paint store.
We are a real paint store.
You go to paint, you can get everything. You can get the rollers, you can get your paint.
You're going to need drop cloths. We've got that. You're going to need ladders. We've got ladders.
Because you can get more than just quality paint. You can get your paint, you can get all your supplies.
We can mix paint. We can color match paint. We've got everything you need to get a paint job done.
We can custom tint anything. I mean, you could bring in your shirt and we could match your shirt.
We have the products and the product knowledge that the paint stores have, if not more of it.
Something's not quite right. There. Now that's a sandwich. And there's only one beer that can stand up to a man's meal. That's the High Life. That's Miller Time.
#1 ranked minivan by Car and Driver? The rugged Montana from Pontiac. With not one, but 2 sliding doors. Something handy for whoever's passing through. Life is more exciting in Montana. Now, get out of Dodge with 0.9% APR financing or $2,000 cash back on any new 98 Transport or Montana during the Pontiac Summer Sell Down. See your Pontiac dealer today.
Rogaine Extra Strength works for 4 out of 5 men.
What do you mean works?
Regrows hair, or at least stops hair loss.
With my luck, I'll be that 5th guy.
Probably not. But here's our guarantee. Give Rogaine Extra Strength an honest chance. You be the judge. It stops hair loss, or regrows hair, more hair, thicker hair, faster, or we give your money back. Guaranteed. Rogaine Extra Strength works for you, or your money back.
I can't lose.
McGwire hit number 61 in the first inning. The Cardinals lead 2-0 as we go to the last of the 5th. And when he came out of the dugout, the ovation began, and everyone is standing here at Busch Stadium as McGwire stands in at the plate.
I think we should stand too, John. Since we couldn't salute him when he was running around the bases. Because we're not supposed to show favoritism, are we?
I'm trying to maintain the integrity
of the game.
Of the booth.
Right, of the booth, right.
High in the air, shadow center. Morandini out, Johnson in. And McGwire is gone on 1 pitch.
John, Bob, McGwire's changed a little bit his approach to hitting. And what you'll see here, he takes his top hand off so that he can get better extension. Now watch this. His hand comes off. That's for extension. He didn't hit like that for, the first few years in the major leagues. But this helps him to get extension. And it doesn't cut off the swing, because if you keep your top hand on, your top hand will eventually roll over. And I think Sosa is saying, hey, you hit the home run. Now we have to try to win the ball game.
Sosa will be due up second in the 6th inning. As Ray Langford comes up now, McGwire back in the dugout. 2 for 3 for the day. McGwire, who is very quick to remember people who have given him help along the way, long before he ever got here, before he ever signed a professional contract. He was given some hitting instruction by Ron Vaughn, who was a coach at USC when McGwire got there. Ron Vaughn was one of the early guys to see that McGwire maybe had a better future as a hitter than as a pitcher. And McGwire went up after his sophomore year to play in the Alaskan Summer League. And their team needed a big slugging first baseman, and Ron Vaughn pointed out to the manager of the team, said, hey, you've already got one. It's Mark McGwire. Give him a shot. McGwire played first base instead of pitching up there, and he had a real big season and was able to convince his manager, Rod Dato, at USC to get him in there as a hitter, which he did, and then he hit 32 home runs to lead intercollegiate baseball in his junior year, and ended up signing a contract with the Oakland Athletics as a hitter. And McGwire says he wasn't much of a pitcher. He said he had just a mediocre fastball and a mediocre slider. Although Rod Dato says he had much better stuff than that. But McGwire, as you see him as a pitcher back in his days at SC in the early 80s, even after he first signed, would work out all winter long with Ron Vaughn back in Southern California. Ron got no money for it, no compensation. He's now scouting for Oakland. And Ron Vaughn was stunned when he started hearing that Mark McGwire in his interviews this year kept mentioning Ron Vaughn as a guy that taught him everything he really needed to know to be a hitter. McGwire also gives Doug Rader, who became a hitting instructor in Oakland, a great deal of credit for his help. But Ron Vaughn was one of those guys, Joe, and there were thousands of them around the country, or maybe not enough of them, who were out there without fame, without fortune, but teaching the game of baseball to young people. Taking those who are willing to work, and McGwire was, and help them polish their game. McGwire was willing to put in the time, and Ron Vaughn was there for him.
And he also mentioned that when he was with Oakland, he learned a lot about hitting from, Bob Watson, who was the hitting instructor there. And as I mentioned, lately he's adapted some of Charlie Lau's, hitting philosophy. and that is the right top hand coming off the bat. A lot of people always felt that when your top hand came off the bat, you would only hit singles, but that's not true because you're still making contact with both hands, but you're getting the extension. And extension is the key to hitting a lot of home runs. The extension is the key to driving the ball.
Langford at first, 1 out. Gant the hitter. Last Sunday when we were here, and McGwire hit that spectacular home run to beat Atlanta. Ron Vaughn and his wife in Southern California had the game on television. There goes Langford. Service throws in the dirt, and Langford will hold at second base as Morandini was able to knock it down.
Well, Service didn't get much on that throw at all because I actually thought he had a shot at Gant, but he did not get anything on the throw. Langford, I'm sorry, he didn't get anything on the throw.
Langford's got his second steal of the year, of the game, and his 21st of the year. Thought about going.
No, it was too close. I think Morandini was trying to decoy him as to he didn't know where the ball was.
But when McGwire hit that big home run to beat Atlanta last week on Sunday Night Baseball, his 55th homer of the year, Ron's wife ran in from the other room and says, "Marky has just done it again." And Ron said he was excited for McGwire, but also he said at that moment, they were as proud of McGwire as if he was a member of their family. And he said that was satisfaction enough for him for the time he put in with McGwire. That's the reason he did it. He thought McGwire had a chance to do something with it. 2-2 the count. And that's, I know, in your own book, you talked about that as the responsibility of the older generation of players. Continue that tradition of passing along that knowledge to the younger players.
I think that's something that has slacked off in the last few years, and I think it needs to be returned to the forefront for baseball and for players who've learned a lot from other people just to pass that knowledge along.
You know, Rick Sutcliffe is a guy now doing television for San Diego, but he still reserves a couple of months during the season where he goes down and works with the Padres pitchers in the rookie leagues and in spring training. And I asked him why, and he said, because I feel it's important for me to give something back to the game. Maybe he read your book, Joe.
Well, no, I just think that's a great attitude to have because this is a great game.
Here comes Jim Riggleman out now. 2 men on, consecutive walks here by Mike Morgan. The bullpen is busy. And Morgan, remember, making only his 3rd start since coming back from the disabled list. Morgan's only allowed 2 runs up till now. We are, of course, in St. Louis. Where else would we be? There's the famed Gateway Arch along the shores of the Mississippi and Busch Stadium in the background. And today's Skyview coverage is coming from Bud One Airship, brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Here's Bud One. Fernando Tatis up now. Morgan is staying in there. It hasn't been elegant so far. He's given up a booming home run to McGwire. Another homer to Marrero. Had base runners in every inning. But so far, Joe, he's kept them in the game.
Well, that's what Mike Morgan does. He's a crafty veteran that keeps his ball club in the game. As he mentioned, he hasn't pitched as well as he would like, but the Cubs have won his 2 previous starts because he keeps them in the ball game.
He has walked 6 in 4 1/3 innings and given up 2 homers, but only 2 runs on the board. Slider misses. 2-0. Rodney Myers, a right-hander, warming up in the Chicago bullpen. Myers is ready if needed. Shouldn't take too long to get loose on a day like today. Jim Riggleman pensive in the dugout. Cubs leading the wild card race. Pitch disappeared up there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Placido Polanco is on deck. Toronto is leading Cleveland today, by the way, 14-1 now at the end of 7. On their way to their 11th consecutive victory. And they'll be only 4.5 back of the Red Sox, who play tonight at Fenway against the Yanks. Go down to first base with Grace covering, but safely back is Gant. Two and two the count to Tatis. Peter Gammons wrote in his column yesterday in the Boston Globe that McGwire and Sosa perhaps have taken some of the heat off the Red Sox, who started to slide in the pennant race, which usually puts a lot of heat on them because they start hearing about that history about this time every year when they have a lead. 3-2 the count now. Well, both of these runners are fast, Joe. I'm sending them.
Well, I'm not so sure Tony will in this situation because, you know, Tatis will strike out a lot.
I'm sending them.
Okay. I'm not going to send them yet.
Well, they're holding on. Oh, they never listen to me. Well, 3-2.
Yeah, they do sometimes. That's why you still have your house.
We didn't have a bet on that. I didn't bet my house just now, did I?
No, you didn't. No.
3-2 the count.
See, you look at Tony. Tony's a tricky guy. You never know now.
Well, plus, if they, let's say the guy struck out and they stole, then they could walk Polanco to go after the pitcher. So the pitcher's hitting 8. Well, this should be 2. Here's 1. Morandini to first. 2. Double play. Ah, they should have sent him. 6th inning, Grace, and then Sammy Sosa coming up.
Favorite sound, saxophone. Favorite date, sunset cruise along Lakeshore Drive. Ideal car, one of those off-road things you climb into. Not in this life. These are the new Buicks. Smooth driving, smooth riding. Cars that conquer not the jungle, but the road. The new Buicks, real power, real comfort, real style. Isn't it time for a real car?
Oh man, it was like this. What?
Quiznos oven-baked classics. If you want your sub toasted, you gotta go to Quiznos.
Finally, a polished brass finish that holds up under siege. New brilliance for the kitchen. From Delta, it's guaranteed to shine for life. Delta, the faucet.
It's always been my way or no way, right? So when I go away, I stay at Super 8. I want it comfortable. Am I right? I want my VIP discount and friendly people. But not too friendly. Life's great at Super 8.
There's the Mississippi. The Gateway Arch. St. Louis, the gateway to the West. One of America's historic cities. Part of the opening up of the West. It started here. John Miller and Joe Morgan. Today, history has been made. Mark McGwire, the second major leaguer to reach 61 homers, joining Roger Maris. And now he's 1 home run away from reaching the top of Everest, where nobody has ever gone before. 61 and counting. But also being chased himself by Sammy Sosa, who is on deck. Here in the 6th inning as Mark Grace takes ball 1 from Darren Oliver. And that's the other part of it. When Maris hit number 61, he had the record, and then the season was over. McGwire, after today, has another 19 games left to play. So breaking Maris's record will only be the record until the next one. And also, he has been the first to hit 61 since Maris, but he may not even end up leading the league in home runs. Sammy Sosa might overtake him.
Well, I think that's what has really helped both of them. They push each other. They're not competing against each other, they say, but at least they're pushing each other.
3-1 the count to Grace. Well, Oliver needs to make a pitch here. He can't walk Grace in front of Sammy Sosa. Grace, though, often does walk. Very selective up there. Strike 2, good fastball. He has walked nearly twice as often as he struck out. High, lazy fly, left field, Gant. And there is one away.
John, I'm going to show you a little something about these guys' swing. They both get in almost a perfect power position. Look at that. An impact with McGwire. Now look at Sosa. The difference is Sosa on the right has his left leg straight. That means that he is in a perfect power position. McGwire breaks his left knee a little bit, which tells you that he uses his upper body a little bit more because he's stronger. And that's why McGwire really has a little bit of an edge, because he's a little stronger than Sosa, but they're almost in perfect power positions when they attack the baseball.
Well, here's Sammy. He's found the first and struck out looking. Ball 1. This is the first time that he's batted with nobody on base. Again, he got a very warm response from the St. Louis crowd upon arriving at the plate. We saw Big Mac at number 61. They want to see Sosa go deep too.
Yeah, that's what they came to see.
Mark's the man. That's what Sosa keeps saying.
No, Stan's the man. Ooh, change up. So he's thrown him last time up. He threw him a curveball to strike him out that he had not seen in his previous at bat. This time he throws him a changeup, something that he has not seen the entire ball game.
Oliver, who until recently was a teammate of Juan Gonzalez, the great Texas Rangers slugger. Sosa fouled on the right field line. Sosa and Gonzalez both were signed by Omar Minaya, who is now the assistant general manager of the New York Mets. They were both acquired at nearly the same time. Gonzalez from the Vega Baja section of Puerto Rico, Sosa from the Dominican. And that's a ball. Even in the daylight here, Joe, is seeing flash bulbs going off from thousands of cameras with each pitch, both to Sosa and McGwire. I don't think they're going to help that much. 3-2 the count. He struck him out. Foul tip into the glove of Marrero.
And that pitch was a little bit out of the strike zone. High fastball away. And Sosa went after it. Well, let's take a look at how he started him off. Fastball down, then fastball over the outside corner. A breaking ball away, a changeup, I'm sorry. And then he gets a fastball away, fouls it out of the play. High fastball and another high fastball, and he chases it.
Run out on the hill. Delano to Shields. Nice play, and just like that, the Cubs are gone in order. First time all day. Last of the 6, 2-0 St. Louis.
It starts here. It starts here. It also starts here and here. And it all starts right here at Walmart, home of the EverStart battery. All the coal-cranking power your truck, car, boat, or more will ever need. Power you can count on when you need it most. And since it's at Walmart, you can also count on a good price. EverStart. The name says it all.
Do you ever just have one of those days? Well, at Farmers Insurance, everything we do is about getting things back to normal. Isn't that what insurance is supposed to do? Farmers, get you back where you belong.
You're so lucky. Not one gray hair.
When a woman can run her fingers through your hair and can't tell you blend away your gray, that's a natural-looking result. And that's just what you get with the hair color called Just for Men. Simply shampoo in, then rinse. In only 5 minutes, this unique formula blends away gray, actually matches your gray to your real color. so nobody knows, even close up.
I just love your hair.
Just for Men. It looks so natural, even she can't tell.
It's impossible to keep the ocean from the shore. It's just impossible. Ask a baby not to cry. It's just impossible. For to live without you now, it's just impossible.
Cards 2, Cubs nothing. Last of the 6th inning from St. Louis. Yeah, this guy's got tickets to the next 3 games, and these tickets are awfully exclusive right now. Some people have other ways of viewing the action. Be careful up there, will you?
Yeah, Barb Euchre would be proud of that seat.
Mark McGwire. He didn't have the big build-up today to number 61. He hit it the first time he batted. Placido Polanco takes ball 1 from Mike Morgan. 2-0. St. Louis is leading. Polanco is grounded to short and grounded to third. Right over the outside for a strike. Darren Oliver, the pitcher, is on deck, and then Eli Marrero. The last third of the Cardinals batting order here. McGwire would be due up 6th in the inning. Into right center, Sammy Sosa. And that is out number 1. Wednesday night baseball, the doubleheader at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. We'll have the Cardinals and the Reds. We'll follow Big Mac into Cincinnati, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And then on ESPN2, at the same time, the Yankees and the Red Sox. And then that will be the first half of the Wednesday night baseball doubleheader. We're watching the Cardinals and the Cubs, the longtime rivals. The Yankees and Red Sox are beginning a series tonight at Fenway Park. Game 3 of that series will be on ESPN2. That's a foul off to the right. 0-2. The Giants, who are the 3rd club in the National League wild card chase with the Cubs and the Mets, will be seen in the second half of our Wednesday night doubleheader from San Diego, 10:30 Eastern. And Morgan gets Oliver for out number 2. 3 strikeouts for Morgan. He has not been able to get through an inning without some men reaching base yet. He has given up 3 hits and 6 walks, and he has hit a batter. So they put 10 men on base in the first 5 innings. But they managed to get only 2 runs out of all of that.
Yeah, keeping score.
You got to keep scoring a day like today.
Yeah, you do.
You're here to be part of history. You've got to keep score. That's one of the best souvenirs you could have of a day like this. Eli Marrero. Ball 1. He has homered and walked. 2-0 St. Louis, last of the 6th. And that's a ball, 2 balls and no strikes. Sammy Sosa 0 for 3 today. Mark McGwire 2 for 3, and his first hit was a home run. Just missing on the outside. 3 balls and a strike. When Roger Maris hit the 61 homers, Mickey Mantle finished with 54. Teammates who collaborated for more homers than any other teammates in history. Strike 2 on the outside. But then, of course, the Yankees, who won 109 games that season, went on to win the World Series in 5 games from Cincinnati. Before you were there, Joe.
Yes.
Otherwise, I wouldn't mention it.
Right.
That was the Cincinnati ball club of Frank Robinson and Vada Pinson. Pretty good club, but the Yankees just demolished them. And that's also one of the big differences between what McGwire's doing and what Maris did. Maris did it in the heat of a pennant race, and they were pressed by the Tigers much of the way. Deep into left center, Johnson makes the catch. He covers a lot of ground out there. McGwire will have to wait an inning. We go to the 7th, 2-0 St. Louis.
Here at hole 7 of the Cooper Tire Invitational, a long par 9,000 from Chicago. The green surrounded by water. We talked to our leader about this crucial hole.
Tough hole. I rely a lot on my Cooper tires and my low iron.
Here's some replays of you through the Midwest.
I had a few nice shots here in Missouri.
And then that impressive run down the Gulf Coast. We're live in the Everglades. Arnie lying 8,003.
The world is your course. Drive on.
Tony's original love, the Blimpie best. Ham, salami, capicola, prosciutini, provolone, choice toppings, all on freshly baked bread. Blimpie, it's a beautiful thing. Unleash the beast. Unleash the beast. Unleash the beast, Milwaukee's best.
Are rich people taller than the rest of us? Are their loved ones more deserving of an airbag? Was the sun created solely for their enjoyment? Are we the only car company that doesn't think so? Century by Buick, full of amenities for under $20,000, loaded for under $24,000. Century by Buick, a luxury car for everyone.
Thursday night football. Wake Forest has an offense with the ability to score at any moment, led by quarterback Brian Cookler.
And they'll test their skills against Navy. Thursday game night at 7:30. Navy versus Wake Forest, Thursday at 8 on ESPN.
In his 143rd game, Mark McGwire has hit his 61st homer. Back in 1961, Roger Maris was chasing the babe, and the decree was he would have to do it in the first 154 games because Ruth's schedule consisted of only 154 games when he hit 60, and the 154th game fell on a night when the Yankees were playing in Baltimore, and Maris went into that game with 58 home runs. And when Gary Gaetti's at bat is finished, we'll take you back to that night at Memorial Stadium. Meanwhile, Gaetti blasts one deep, and that one is gone. A home run. Gary Gaetti gets a big ovation from many Cardinals fans because he did that very thing so many times as a Cardinal. He acknowledges the crowd. His 17th homer this year and his 4th as a Cub. And now here is Mickey Morandini. 2-1 St. Louis. Morandini grounded out twice. That's the worrisome part for the Cardinals here. They've had chances to break this game open and have not done it. It comes right in the game, and that's a solid single to right for Morandini. Back on September the 20th, 1961 in Baltimore against Milt Pappas, Maris was sitting on 58 home runs.
I imagine after all this is over, somebody may write a story or two about the month-long, day in, day out, excruciating pressure. There's one. It is going. It is going. It is gone. Number 59.
And you're going to hear the ovation in Baltimore that night. Although, as was the case all the way down the stretch, the big crowds were not there for Maris. It did not seem to captivate the country anywhere near as much as what McGwire and Sosa have been doing. In Baltimore that night, they had just a little over 20,000 people. Maris had number 59. Later in that game, he would hit a ball to the warning track in right center, but that was as close as he would get to number 60 in those first 154 games. And that, of course, was the great, legendary Hall of Fame broadcaster Mel Allen, then the voice of the Yankees, as he described number 59 for Roger Maris. And it was interesting, Joe, talking about the excruciating pressure that Maris was under.
Right. I think that's the difference between Sosa, McGwire, and Maris. That's a big difference.
There's a bunt by Scott Service. Nicely done. McGwire. Wow, nice play by Big Mac. With DeShields covering, and Morandini has been moved to second base.
McGwire did win a Gold Glove a few years ago. And this is a tough play because the ball backs up and stops. Now McGwire has to get rid of it. And he makes a nice play. Throws it on the inside so that he doesn't hit the runner. And DeShields can make the play.
Big Mac. I think a lot of fans kind of gasped when they saw McGwire fall over after making that throw. As if to say, it's fine to make a good play. Don't hurt yourself. Not now. Matt Mieske will come up and pinch hit from Mike Morgan. The Cardinal bullpen is very busy right now. The right-handed Mike Busby, the left-handed, number 28, Lance Painter. So the possible tying run is in scoring position here. Jim Riggleman playing very conservatively here, trying to get the tying run home in the 7th inning. And La Russa is heading out. He's going to bring in, actually going to bring in his left-hander here, Lance Painter, with the right-hander batting Mieske up there. 2-1 St. Louis. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Dallas Raines, and I want to talk to you about the growing need for foster parents today. There are children that need the opportunity to experience a stable, normal family environment. The Research and Treatment Institute Foster Family Association operates a comprehensive foster care program for children ranging from birth to 17 years of age. If you or someone you know are interested in learning more about becoming a foster parent, please call 1-800-373-2223.
I'm not a purple dinosaur. I'm not 64 bits. And I don't play pro ball. What I am is a mentor. Not a psychologist, but I'm a listener. I don't have all the answers. I'm a mentor. I make a difference. This is my reward.
Kids who have mentors are less likely to do drugs. Be a mentor.
This is Imagine TV.
Dear John, I'm leaving you and taking the Mercury.
Well, we know why I can't do what I'm supposed to do. You know how I are.
With a special California package that includes leather seating, air, and aluminum wheels, the 98 Grand Marquis LS and Sable LS are as ready to travel as you are. And now that there's no better time to get away, why settle for anything less?
Till next time, imagine yourself in a Mercury.
Cardinals lead 2-1. Top of the 7th, runner at second, and left-handed Lance Painter has come on to face Matt Mieske, the right-handed batting pinch hitter. We showed you Maris's 59th homer in that 154th game. Finally, October the 1st, 1961, at Yankee Stadium, in the 4th inning against the Boston Red Sox, Tracy Stallard on the mound.
Fastball hit deep to right. This could be it. Way back there. Holy cow! He did it. 61 for Maris. Fight for that ball out there.
And Maris had to be pushed out of the dugout by some of his teammates like Bill Skowron, among others, because the fans just wouldn't stop until he came out and took a bow. That was not commonplace at that time. Finally, they pushed him out of the dugout, made him doff his cap to acknowledge the crowd. But it wasn't necessarily a happy occasion for Maris, perhaps a relief that it was at long last over.
Well, I think it's a relief for McGwire to at least get to 61 as well, but not nearly the same pressure or stress that Maris was under.
You know, the crowd was that day for him to hit the historic 61st, 23,154. And here are the Cardinals not even in a pennant race and all sold out for the rest of the year. The Cardinals are going to draw about $3.2 million. Here at home in 1998 with a bad ball club. Hasty the hitter. Starting and then stopping Morandini. He'll remain at second base. 2-0 the count with the left-handed batting Lance Johnson on deck. 23,000 plus at Yankee Stadium when he hit number 61, and most of them, they say, were out in right field. They all wanted to catch that ball. It was Phil Rizzuto who had the play-by-play description of Maris' 61st. I read an interview with Scooter about the call, and they asked him if he had given it some thought in advance what he was going to say if he was on when Maris hit the homer. And Rizzuto, in typical Rizzuto fashion, said, "No, I wish I had thought about it for a while." He said, "Maybe I would have come up with something better than holy cow." Come on, Scooter. Holy cow is perfect. Two on, one out. And now the left-handed batting Lance Johnson will bat. Bob Lee and Robin Roberts will have Sports Center for you right after the ball game. Stay tuned for that. Still raining in New York, by the way, where the Mets have a 4-0 lead over Atlanta after 3 innings. Here the Cardinals 2, the Cubs 1, and McGwire with number 61. Sosa still at 58. But the Cubs now threatening to turn this game around. Lance Johnson is lined to left, flying to shallow center, and walked. Busby still up in the Cardinals bullpen, the right-hander. Pretty impressive performance by Darren Oliver until here in the 7th, Joe. And I wonder if he just started to wilt in the heat.
Well, it's very warm here, and so it doesn't surprise you. You lose, in Major League Baseball, you lose a half a foot off that fastball, and all of a sudden the hitters can start to catch up with it. Now the strike on the outside. Now it is 1-2. Gary Gaetti started the inning with a home run against his former team. Gaetti, who has hit better than .370 in the 18 games he's played since going to the Cubs. The curve is down and away, blocked by Marrero, the shortstop. Polanco had actually broken to the bag as the pitch was being thrown that time. I mentioned the Cubs in the wild card race. They have a 1-game advantage over the Mets, 3 over the Giants. The Giants play later tonight in San Diego. The Mets, as we say, are leading Atlanta, but in a rain delay. It's become a rather lengthy rain delay at Shea Stadium. Mike Piazza has really been a force in the stretch run for the Mets, just as they hoped he would be. Third ball bounced foul. The runners are Morandini over at second base, and Miesky is at first base. Now, the only way this script could be better for baseball, this year is if both McGwire and Sosa were going to end up in the playoffs. And that's not going to happen because the Cardinals definitely will not be in the playoffs. Langford. And that is out number 2. Runners had to hold. And the dangerous Jose Hernandez comes up now. The Cubs today have had 8 at-bats as a team with a runner in scoring position, or runners. That means a runner at second or third or both. And they have not had a hit yet. 0 for 8. Here comes Dave Duncan, the pitching coach. Hernandez, a dangerous right-handed hitter with 21 homers. And they're going to bring in the right-hander Busby to face him. 2 men on, 2 men out in the 7th inning. The Cardinals clinging to a 1-run lead. We'll be right back.
In a GMC Yukon, you may welcome a little change.
horsepower that leads its class, Yukon dominates the road.
Even towing feels like child's play.
Yukon by GMC. It puts you comfortably in command.
Nix on Yankenko. Hi, y'all are some more. I'm glad for you to see me.
Boom, here we go.
Cut it off.
Toss it.
That's looking good already, and I haven't even done anything to it.
Nice and thick there.
Marbling through it.
It's like a concert. Oh, done. People are wild about it in the restaurant.
People love this dish.
I love pork so much. Come here, pork chop. Pork.
Pork.
Hey,
guys, we're popular again.
Yeah, with mashed potatoes. That is good, I guarantee.
Clean is my business. So when I'm on the road, Super 8's my motel.
Clean carpets, clean seats, clean. Clean inside and out. Life's great at Super 8.
Who's gonna break Maris's mark and hit 62 out of the park? The race is on. Keep your eyes on the ball. McGwire, Sosa, Griffin. They've got their eyes on the ball. Baseball history is in the making. Who's gonna crush 62 before the season is through? It could happen at a ballpark near you. Don't miss a home run. Don't miss a minute. Keep pace with the race. Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com.
In St. Louis, 2-1, the Cardinals leading in the top of the 7th over the Cubs. Now it's a new time for Monday Night Football on ABC Sports this season, 8 o'clock Eastern. Join Al Michaels, Dan Deerdorf, and Boomer Esiason for a big ball game tonight. Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots, John Elway and the world champion Broncos. Then next Sunday night, we'll take you to New England for ESPN's Sunday Night Football. The Colts' Peyton Manning and Marshall Faulk take on Bledsoe and the Patriots at 8:15 Eastern Time. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, and Paul McGwire next Sunday on ESPN. ABC and ESPN, the exclusive home of the NFL in prime time. There's Mike Busby now. 2 on, 2 out in the 7th inning. Big moment of the game now. A tough right-handed hitter. Jose Hernandez coming up against Busby. The runners, Morandini, the possible tying run at second. Miski, the possible go-ahead run at first. Both better to run than anything here with 2 down. Comes pinch hit for Mike Morgan, their starting pitcher. And their bullpen is busy right now. That's Hernandez. 1 for 3. Stands in. 2-1 St. Louis. Over the outside corner for a called strike. Not only a huge crowd of baseball fans here today, but a huge media turnout. Somewhere in the vicinity of 700 members of the media here to cover this one, including a reporter and or columnist from every major league city except for Montreal. One strike to count to Hernandez. In the air to right field, Jordan has plenty of room for this one, and that retires the side. Grace and Sosa will come back in the next inning, and Mark McGwire, who hit number 61 in the first inning, is coming up third in the last of the 7th. 1 away from a new Major League record.
Rogaine Extra Strength works for 4 out of 5 men.
What do you mean works?
Regrows hair, or at least stops hair loss.
With my luck, I'll be that 5th guy.
Probably not. But here's our guarantee. Give Rogaine Extra Strength an honest chance. You be the judge. It stops hair loss, or regrows hair, more hair, thicker hair, faster, or we give your money back. Guaranteed. Rogaine Extra Strength works for you, or your money back.
I can't lose.
Introducing the all-new 1999 Grand Am. Its solid form design provides a stronger body structure so you can get down to some exciting business with hardly a squeak.
Solid.
Excitement, well built. The all-new Grand Am by Pontiac.
What's that?
Domino's Pizza.
I know, but what's that?
It's the new Domino's Heatwave bag.
heat wave bag.
It's like a portable oven. It keeps your pizza hotter.
Is the pepperoni hotter? The crust crispier? Is the cheese good and gooier?
It's all that. The new Domino's heat wave bag helps me deliver the best tasting Domino's pizza ever.
Now order any large pizza with up to 3 toppings for just $9.99 and have it delivered oven fresh.
Domino's, delivering a million smiles a day.
This ESPN Major League Baseball special is brought to you by Domino's, delivering a million smiles a day. And that's the view from high above Busch Stadium. The aerial view of Busch Stadium is from the Bud 1 airship, brought to you by Brew Refresh Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Glad to have them with us. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan and Mark McGwire. We don't know how many more at-bats he's going to get. Perhaps his final plate appearance will come here in the 7th. He is 1 away from going where no major leaguer has gone before. He has equaled Maris. Nobody has ever gone as far as 62 home runs. Strike 1 to Delino DeShields. Brian Jordan on deck. McGwire third in the inning against the new Cubs pitcher Matt Karchner has come on to take over from Mike Morgan. 1-1 the count. Karchner, formerly with the Chicago White Sox, he had been the closer there, and he comes in here, perhaps into the onrushing tide of history, Joe. Karchner has given up a home run to McGwire this year. And it was a dramatic home run at Wrigley Field back on August the 19th. McGwire had one of those incredible days. His club was trailing in the 8th inning, and McGwire homered to tie the game at Wrigley against Karchner. Then with the score still tied in the 10th, McGwire homered against Mulholland, and that was the game winner. So his club is not in a pennant race, but McGwire has hit some big home runs that have impacted on the pennant race nonetheless, including last Sunday right here on ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball, when he just blasted that spectacular home run that propelled them to a win over Atlanta. That's deep into right field. Way back there. Sosa, this one, gone! A home run for Delino DeShields.
Well, I think everyone's thinking long ball today. Watch him. He turns on this. He's really trying to drive it, and he does. He hits it over the right field wall for a home run.
Now Brian Jordan, Gaetti. Jordan gone on 1 pitch, and now here comes McGwire. 1 away from history. Everybody in the ballpark standing. Ball 1. Number 61 came in the 1st inning. Scorched it down the left field line. He has singled and flied out since. Coming back, service, but no play. It's in amongst the spectators. And a scramble for that one as well. Should have brought your net, Joe. 62. Never been done in the big leagues. Just missing. 2-1. Cubs bullpen is very busy. Off the end of the bat to center, and Johnson just does make a shoestring catch. So now we don't know if he'll get up to the plate again. Ordinarily, Cardinal fans would just assume that he didn't.
Well,
because that would mean that they would win.
Well, a lot of people are starting to leave, John.
2 down in the 7th inning, and that will bring up Ray Langford.
Let's take a look and see how close he comes to the target. Target down and away. And he hits the target. Good pitch. A little breaking ball, and that's why McGwire got it off the end of the bat.
There was one game this year McGwire hit 3 ground balls on the infield. It's the only time it's happened all year. I mean, whatever he hits, home run otherwise, he gets the ball in the air.
Well, he has such a... He used to have a real big uppercut. Now he just has a slight uppercut, and that's one of the reasons he's been more consistent the last 3 years as far as hitting home runs and batting average. Because remember now, years ago he hit 200. He was struggling because he was swinging had a lot of fly balls and pop-ups. Plus, it was much easier to pitch to him. I think one of the things Tony La Russa said is that he has seen this guy mature. When he first came up, he'd hit home runs, and they'd get him out, and he didn't even want to know what they got him out with. His last at bat, he wasn't even thinking about at bats. All he was thinking about was his next swing. He wasn't thinking about how they got him out. He didn't want to know anything about the pitchers. He said now he's seen him mature into a guy that knows all the pitchers, even though he's new in this league. He works the counts. He does everything that a good hitter does. In fact, he hits more home runs on 1 and 2 now than he ever did.
Past the diving Grace, a base hit for Langford. Cardinals need to have 5 men reach base for McGwire to get up in the 8th inning.
Well, let's take a look at Mark McGwire. See that uppercut, more of an uppercut in 1991 when he really struggled. See, that's a lot more level swing right there than he had in 1991, and that was one of the reasons that he struggles so much in 91. A lot of pop-ups, and you always could throw the ball above his belt. High fastballs could get him out. Now he lays off of those pitches, and he handles them a lot better because he doesn't have as big an uppercut as he had then.
It was the year that McGwire just hit rock bottom. His personal life, the professional. He'd had a divorce, and he just couldn't hit.
Well, John, I think in part the way pitchers pitch him, they're actually pitching to his strength in a lot of cases. You try to keep the ball down, and he swings with that uppercut. He loves the low pitch, so you're pitching to his strength. But you say, okay, you can throw him up and get him out. But by the same token, if you throw him up and you don't get it up, he's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark. I mean, middle of the plate in and up is the way to pitch him. But your margin for error is so little in there that a lot of pitchers stay away from that area, and they just try to stay away, down and away.
Ron Gant, the hitter. He's had 2 walks, and he's been hit by a pitch. In 1991, Mark McGwire hit .201 with 22 homers and only 75 runs batted in. Let's see how it had started out beautifully for him. As a rookie, he set the all-time rookie record. He had 49 home runs that year. There goes Langford, and he will steal without a throw. Langford has 3 steals today and 22 for the year.
And that gets him into the 20-20 club again. 20 stolen bases, 20 home runs.
Gant swinging away in 3-0.
That 20-20 club's not nearly as big a deal as it was before, because 40-40 is kind of the standard now. 30-30 was for a while. Now people are looking at 40-40. Alex Rodriguez of the Mariners is probably going to reach 40-40. Barry Bonds has done it. course, Jose Canseco was the first to do it.
Just a combination of speed and power. I mean, you get 40 of either. That's great speed and great power. Great stolen base ability. Now Gant has walked. This inning has been a struggle for Matt Karchner. Mark McGwire and the Cardinals will come up again on ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, as they take on the Cincinnati Reds at Synergy Field. The Yankees and Red Sox at Fenway Park will be seen on ESPN2 at the same time. Subject to blackout. Check your local listings. McGwire, we don't know if he's going to get up again today, but we will be with him on Wednesday from Cincinnati.
And I guess you're going to drive over there and watch that game, huh?
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to drive back to San Diego tonight.
Okay. And then take off.
Head back to Cincinnati Wednesday.
Wish I could join you.
I want to catch all the big games, Joe. Fernando Tatis, 2 on, 2 out, a run in. Strike in the inside. 3-1, the Cardinals lead now in the 8th inning. When the Cubs come to bat, their big hitters would be due up. Mark Grace and then Sammy Sosa due up second in the 8th. He's hitless today and homerless. And that's a ball. 2-1 the count. And we've talked a lot about Roger Maris and the obstacles which he had to overcome in hitting 61 homers. How about Hank Aaron to reach and pass Babe Ruth's career record in 1974? Not just a lot of things to overcome, but even death threats. That one is hit a mile but foul by Tatis. Well, the young third baseman showed some pretty good power on that one.
Well, they're expecting him to be a guy to hit 25 to 30 home runs once he gains more experience here in the big leagues, and he has swung the bat much better since he's been with the Cardinals. Opens up just a little bit too soon and hooks that one.
Hit the window up there. That's a pretty good shot. McGwire's 61st homer hitting off a window, but on the fair side of the pole in the first inning.
And that's the difference in McGwire. I mean, he extends now with his front arm, and he doesn't hook as many balls foul as he did before.
Fernando Tatis, 0 for 2 with a walk. Just got a piece of that one. But Hank Aaron received many death threats. And when he hit number 715 in Atlanta against Al Downing, 1974, the celebration began. And his mom and dad came out on the field to meet him. And his mom, Estella, ran up to him and squeezed him in a big hug. He said he didn't know his mom was that strong to squeeze him that hard. And he found out later that she was trying to protect him just in case one of those threats was attempting to become true. That's the inning. Tatis is down. Now Grace and Sammy Sosa coming up.
On October 2nd, it's beautiful. Take all you know about adventure and magnify it. Run! DreamWorks Pictures presents...
Don't you want your 8-bit beer?
I have a thing about drinking from the caboose of another creature.
And rated PG.
I did a great deal of research on the automobile. I looked at the Honda Civic, Ford Probe. I always came back to Hyundai. It's a great car. Perfect on the road. Great pickup. It handled wonderfully. I love the design of the Elantra. It's sleek, classy, car of the 90s.
Right now, you could get an Elantra for just $8,999.
It impressed me completely. Take a test drive and experience it yourself.
One official Major League Baseball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, new ball, new ball, $9. New windshield, $100. 62. Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Official card of Major League Baseball and believer that records were made to be broken.
Blast, 6 feet of choice meats, real dairy cheese, freshly baked bread, enough to satisfy up to 40 people, or just one. Blimpie, it's a beautiful thing.
Cards 3, Cubs 1. Sosa will be coming up second here in the 8th inning. Meanwhile, we've got Dave Campbell with a Hall of Famer, Lou Brock.
Thank you, John. Lou, you set the all-time stolen base record, beat Ty Cobb, then you had it broken. What were the emotions both times?
Well, of course, I don't think you're dealing primarily with emotion at the time because you're in a zone. Particularly the season record like Mark is chasing, that is when you must perform. The other one is just you go out and do your thing. But the most pressure was on the season record.
Good seeing you, teammate.
Hey, good to see you, Dave.
Okay, John.
Lou Brock. And Joey, one of your fellow baseball immortals.
I think Dave Campbell's been a teammate of every player. I mean, he played everywhere, didn't he?
Yeah, he got moved around a lot. Mike Busby to Mark Grace. And the job right here, Joe, is to keep Grace off the bases with Sammy Sosa coming up. And even I know that. And Grace has been kept off the bases. 0 for 3. 1-2 the count. 58 home runs for Sosa. I mean, he's way ahead of Maris and the Babe both. Maris at number 58 in his 152nd game. Strike 3 call. Grace did not seem to like the call. Now Sosa. Well, one thing for you home run chase followers, this gives Busby a chance to be maybe a little more aggressive with Sosa than if he were the tying run and working out of the stretch. They're underway with that ball game at Shea Stadium again after a long rain delay. Atlanta batting in the 4th inning, trailing the Mets 4-1. The Mets are 1 game back of the Cubs in the National League wild card race. Sosa is 0 for 3. Beautiful on the outside of the knees. Sosa has fouled out to McGwire, struck out looking, and struck out swinging. All of that was against starting pitcher Darren Oliver. One ball, 1 strike. This is something that's quite a bit different than Maris's time, and especially since the Babe's time. The advent of relief pitching into specialists, middlemen, setup men, closers. It's this time of the game you're most likely going to face somebody other than the starter.
A fresh arm always comes in towards the late innings, and that's why I don't think anyone will ever break Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. Because they're, I mean, you're just facing a top-notch pitcher every time you go to bat, and it's going to be difficult for someone to sustain that over 57 ball games.
Well, Maris got to face every team 18 times. In fact, he had 36 games where he got to face expansion team pitching. He had 13 homers against the 2 expansion teams in 61. 1-2 to Sosa. 2-2. Ruth, of course, they played every other team 22 times. And it was the rare game where the bullpen was used. So he got to see a lot of pitchers a lot of times. To the count. That's a base hit to left field. And that pitch was about ankle high, it looked like.
Well, the one thing that Sosa has been able to do the entire season, as you see him congratulating Mark McGwire.
McGwire giving Sosa sort of a salute by his own little symbolic gesture. which Sammy will use when he hits a home run. Part of it is acknowledging his mother. And as he mouths the words after he homers, "Para ti, mami," which is for you, Mom.
A lot of home runs standing right there, John.
Man, it's 119 so far this year. And McGwire's ahead. He has tied the record, but we don't know that he's going to end up leading the league. Base hit for Glenn out on the hill. And Sosa, who runs well, will go to third. The throw cut off by Polanco. Now Gaetti, the former Cardinal, who homered his last time, with a chance to do more damage against the Cards. Been sort of an all-around love in here today, Joe. The fans, these Cardinal fans have been cheering for Sosa, and they've also been very warm in their affection for Gary Gaetti. Cardinals bullpen is very busy. The guys working real hard out there. Sosa at third, Hill, the possible tying run at first. Look out, hit him. Well, that, and listen to the fans booing. That will put the possible tying run into scoring position.
And I think that one really hurt Gaetti because he called for the trainer immediately.
Says he's okay. Dan Radisson, the first base coach, greeting him there.
Well, he hits him on the right arm, left arm, right above the elbow, but he doesn't go to first base. He immediately calls for the trainer.
Pinch runner will go in at second base for the Cubs. Brant Brown, who is a very fast runner, replaces Glenn out on the hill. And Dave Duncan goes out to the mound. The bases are loaded with one out. And with the left-handed batting Mickey Morandini coming up, they're going to bring in a left-hander, Brian Eversgerd, from the bullpen. So the Cubs making a move here in the 8th inning. They have trailed since McGwire tied Maris in the first. But now they've got their shot, and we'll be right back.
It's a thin line between newborn and stillborn, full term and premature, between healthy and sick. If you're pregnant or think you are, getting prenatal care early is the most important step you can take. Don't put your baby's health on the line. Take care of yourself so you can take care of your baby. Find out now about getting prenatal care. Call 1-800-311-2229.
Hi, I'm Dallas Raines, and I want to talk to you about the growing need for foster parents today. There are children that need the opportunity to experience a stable, normal family environment. The Research and Treatment Institute Foster Family Association operates a comprehensive foster care program for children ranging from birth to 17 years of age. If you or someone you know are interested in learning more about becoming a foster parent, please call 1-800-373-2223.
One official Major League Baseball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, new ball, new ball, $9. New windshield, $100. 62, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Official card of Major League Baseball and believer that records were made to be broken.
Cardinals lead 3-1 at the top of the 8th, but the Chicago Cubs, the National League wild card race leaders, are making a threat. The bases are loaded with only one man out, and the new pitcher has come on, Brian Eversgerd, to face the left-handed batting Mickey Morandini.
I'll tell you what, John, Mickey Morandini is a guy that's really helped this ball club They brought him over, and I mean, he's really played well at the top of the order. Hit at the top of the order most of the season. He's gotten on base a lot for them. He's been a very good clutch hitter.
In the dirt and knocked down by Marrero. It's Sosa at third base. He started this with a single. And really, that's what they needed. They would like to have seen the home run, number 59, but they needed somebody to get on base, and Sosa was the man who did it. Bryant Brown, the pinch runner for Hill at second, the possible tying run. Gaetti, the runner at first, the possible go-ahead run. The middle infield, double play death. The slider misses, and now Eversgerd is in a hole. Mickey Morandini, the former Philadelphia Philly, a great pickup for the Cubs in the offseason. He's hit over 300. His on base average is near 400. He's played an outstanding second base. That's a strike. Against left-handers, though, he has hit only 220. So La Russa plays the percentages, going to Eversgerd. This could be two. Here's one. Placido Polanco not in time. Sosa scores, and Brown goes to third.
Not a good throw to second base by DeShields. If he would have thrown the ball closer to the bag, Polanco would have been able to turn that double play, but he has to reach out, throws his timing off, and that's the reason this double play is not completed. Watch the throw. It's to the right field side. See right there, he's got to compose himself. Now he has to throw back across, not in time. If that ball would have been closer to the bag, I think he could have made the double play. I'm not so sure that Polanco even touched second base, but the throw was wide of the bag.
It's a one-run game again, 3-2. And Brown, the possible tying run, now at third base. Gaetti wiped out on the force out. Morandini at first. He gets an RBI. Scott Service, ball one. Cardinals, the late innings this year have been a nightmare. They have lost more games that they led after 8 innings than any Cardinals team in the last 44 years. It's a ball. And it is 2-0. The pitcher spot due up next. And a pinch hitter has come out on deck. There he is, Manny Alexander, a right-handed batter. Cubs bullpen is quiet for the moment. That's a foul backing out of play. 2-1 to Service, who is 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. Cardinal bullpen is a cauldron of activity, Joe. You see them out there. Frascatore, number 50, and Petkazik, Mark Petkazik in the foreground, number 46. Eversgerd is the last left-hander available to La Russa out of the bullpen. That's a strike at the knees. 2-2 the count. And it looks like Service is complaining about that call to plate umpire Gary Darling. 3-2 St. Louis. Morandini, the runner at first, possible go-ahead run, also capable of stealing a base. And that one hits Service. Brown will have to go back to third. The batter is hit by a pitch. The ball immediately is a dead ball. So the bases are loaded. That's the second hit batsman of the inning. Busby hit Gaetti. So now the bases are loaded. Here comes Dave Duncan again. Jim Riggleman out, talking to the plate umpire Darling.
Well, he had 2 strikes on Service. The ball actually hits him right on the toe. Once you set your foot down, it's kind of hard to raise it up and get it back out of the way because all your weight goes on it, and that's why Service was not able to move and get out of the way there. Well, that's got to hurt. The trainer's out to see the Scott Service over at first base.
Ouch. And then the Blue Angels just went by. They're hard to miss. They were doing their impression of a McGwire home run. Well, we've got it all going here today. The Blue Angels with their salute of Mark McGwire. That's what they posted on the big message board out in left field as they made their flyby. Here is Manny Alexander. 3 men on, 2 men out. There's Brown at third. Morandini, the possible go-ahead run at second, and Service at first. 2 down in the 8th. They'll be running at the crack of the bat. Too low. Alexander, .235 average, but he is 8 for 21 as a pinch hitter. Sosa in the dugout. He started this rally with a single, and he has scored a run. Big pitch. Strike, and it's 2-1.
If one more batter gets on base, whether it's this inning or the 9th inning, Sosa will get one more at bat.
I was a little surprised to see him take that pitch, Joe. That looked like the pitch to hit. 2-0. It looked like a good one.
I think when you're a pinch hitter and you come off the bench, you do not want to chase something out of the strike zone. And he had thrown 2 pitches out of the strike zone. He wanted to look at one. But chances are you're going to get the same pitch 2-1 that you got 2-0.
Well, he'll be ready for it this time, I would guess. 2-1. 3 men on, 2 men out. Blew it by him.
Well, he got a tougher pitch to handle. This pitch is away and it's moving away, whereas the other one was right in the middle of the plate.
Well, his pitch to hit, I think he's the one he took. 2-2 the count. Cardinals lead by 1. The 3 runners get their leads. And it's a full count. Eversgerd looking ever so carefully here, nibbling. And he has run out of room in which to maneuver. They'll all be going. Brown, Morandini, and Service ready to take off with the pitch. They run. He lunges for it and pops it up foul. McGwire does not have room enough to get this one. Had he still been playing in Oakland in a home game, I think he would have run over and caught that one. Huge amounts of foul territory at the Oakland Coliseum. Here, not so much. The lower deck box seats right out close to the action here. We'll try it again. Brown, Morandini in Service. The 3 runners ready to break. There they go. He struck him out. The Cubs are 0 for 11 with men in scoring position. The Cardinals would need to get 3 men on base from McGwire to bat in the last of the 8th. He's due up 6. 3-2, St. Louis.
You never know when your number is going to be up. That's why you need protection against the unexpected. But life is full of surprises. You could live to be 100. So at the Conseco Companies, our goal is to help you protect wealth, create wealth for life.
Finally, a polished brass finish that holds up under siege. New brilliance for the kitchen. From Delta, it's guaranteed to shine for life. Delta, the faucet.
Rogaine Extra Strength works for 4 out of 5 men.
What do you mean works?
Regrows hair, or at least stops hair loss.
My luck, I'll be that 5th guy.
Probably not. But here's our guarantee. Give Rogaine Extra Strength an honest chance. You be the judge. It stops hair loss, or regrows hair, more hair, thicker hair, faster, or we give your money back. Guaranteed. Rogaine Extra Strength works for you, or your money back.
I can't lose.
For 100 years, Biv the Michelin Man has symbolized our never-ending quest to invent the best tires in the world. Michelin, celebrating 100 years of innovation.
The new Domino's Heatwave bag works like a portable oven to keep your pizza hot and fresh all the way to your door. Call right now for any large Domino's pizza with up to 3 tasty toppings for only $9.99. Domino's, delivering a million smiles a day.
It's the Colts and the Patriots on ESPN Sunday Night Football. Peyton Manning against Drew Bledsoe. ESPN Sunday Night Football. Coverage begins at 8:15.
Now that sounds like a great game. I don't want to miss it.
John Miller and Joe Morgan with you. An historic day in St. Louis. Labor Day 1998. McGwire has tied Maris. And whether or not he'll get another chance to try and establish his own record today anyway has yet to be seen. They would have to get 3 men on base in this inning, or the Cubs would have to come back and at least tie the game in the 9th inning for McGwire to bat again. Here is Placido Polanco against the new Cubs pitchers. Rod Myers, that one back to Myers, back to Grace for the putout.
Nice 3-1-3 putout.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Well, good hustle by Myers, doing what he was supposed to do, break for the bag at first.
Well, this ball takes a bad hop right there, bounces up on Grace. He wasn't quite in front of it, but nice job there by Myers and Grace. They work together to retire Polanco.
Now Louis Ordaz is going to pinch hit for the pitcher. Brant Brown has stayed in the ball game to play left field for the Cubs after he came on as a runner for Glen Allen Hill. And Ordaz got 101 at bats, no homers, and a 158 average. And their shortstop has had some problems afield, and they feel now that perhaps he and Polanco need a little more seasoning in the minors. Hence the talk that they might go after a guy like Barry Larkin in the offseason. 2-0 the count. Rod Myers, the 3rd Cubs pitcher of the game. Mets are leading Atlanta, meanwhile, 4-2. That game is in the last of the 5th at Shea Stadium. The Mets are 1 game back of the Cubs in the National League wild card race. The American League wild card, Toronto defeated Cleveland today 15-1. The Red Sox, who lead the wild card over there, play the Yankees tonight at Fenway Park. That's a foul out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ordaz. By the way, Sammy Sosa is due up 4th in the 9th inning for the Cubs, so would be due up 4th. Have to get somebody on base. And he may have to face, or it looks like he will have to face Juan Acevedo, who lately has become the Cardinals closer. There's Acevedo heating up in the bullpen. Full count now to Ordaz with Marrero on deck. Shallow left, Brant Brown. 2 men gone. Now, let's get an update from Bill Pito.
All right, John, you were talking about the Mets and the Braves after a 1 hour and 48-minute rain delay. Eddie Perez here in the top of the 4th. Base hit to score Ryan Klesko. That made it 4-1, and it's now 4-2. The Mets up by 2 in the bottom of the 5th. Twins and Rangers. Rangers 3.5 behind Anaheim as play begins. Juan Gonzalez, his 41st home run of the year. It comes in the 7th. And it's now 6-0 Texas in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Thanks, Bill. Juan Gonzalez. That would give him at least 149 runs batted in now. Eli Marrero at the plate. In the American League, the wild card race, the Red Sox by 4.5 over the Blue Jays, who have won 11 in a row. Isn't that funny? The Blue Jays traded Juan Guzman to the Orioles to help the Orioles in the wild card race. I mean, the Blue Jays weren't intending to help them. They just apparently figured they were out of it. They also traded Randy Myers, their closer, to San Diego. Started shedding some big salary. And now they're in it.
They also were trying to trade Roger Clemens. He's won like 12 in a row. So
apparently looked into trading Clemens, although they didn't get the offers they felt they needed. Clemens is the hottest pitcher around right now. Cubs, meanwhile, their young phenom, Kerry Wood, missed a start yesterday. Wednesday night baseball doubleheader. The Cardinals and Mark McGwire in Cincinnati, 7:30 Eastern time. The Yankees and Red Sox on the deuce at the same time from Fenway Park. So we'll have you covered. ESPN, ESPN2, and you and your clicker. That's just the first half of a doubleheader. The Giants and the Padres in the second game. Sammy Sosa due up 4th in the 9th inning. Acevedo's coming on. 3-2 St. Louis.
Introducing the all-new 1999 Grand Am. Its solid form design provides a stronger body structure so you can play as hard as you like with hardly a rattle.
Solid.
Excitement, well built. The all-new Grand Am by Pontiac.
Clean is my business. So when I'm on the road, Super 8's my motel. Clean carpets, clean seats, clean. Clean inside and out. Life's great at Super 8.
When someone prepares a nice supper, you don't want the effort ruined by uneven legs on a chair or table. Use this coaster to shim these hallmarks of poor craftsmanship. After that, dig in to show your appreciation. That's living the high life.
Sunny morning, fresh air is calling. I just love my street. The grass is dewy, the trees are bloomy. Just can't be beat. Hello, neighbor. Smiling faces, wonderful places. Smiling faces.
ESPN's baseball special on Labor Day from St. Louis. The Cardinals, with McGwire hitting number 61, are ahead of the Cubs 3-2. Sammy Sosa 1 for 4, although his single in the 8th inning got them started to a rally that netted them only 1 run. They've not been able to get the big hit in the clutch today. 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. And now Juan Acevedo comes on to try and close it out, but the Cubs will have the top of their batting order up here. And there are a few changes as well. For the St. Louis Cardinals, as Lance Johnson gets ready to bat. John Mabry has come in to play right field in place of Brian Jordan. And Luis Ordaz stays in to play shortstop in place of Polanco. McGwire would be the third man due up in the last of the 9th inning if the Cubs are able to keep this game going, which Acevedo will try and keep from happening. After the ball game, stay tuned to ESPN. We are going to hope to chat with Mark McGwire and his dad, Dr. John McGwire, who is celebrating his birthday today, which ironically, Joe, today he's celebrating birthday number 61. Yeah.
That'll be great. 61 on his father's birthday.
Now, does that guy love his dad or what?
And Roger Maris had 61 in 61, so that's interesting.
The day that Maris hit number 61 was October the 1st. October the 1st is also McGwire's birthday, although he was born 2 years after the home run. And when he hit number 60, Joe, equaling the Babe who wore number 3, retired long ago by the Yankees, and they pulled out those special balls that they keep in a special drawer that are numbered. The ball he hit for the 60th home run came out of drawer number 3. Well, Joe, there are so many little coincidences here as Lance Johnson takes ball 1. Johnson is 0 for 3. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to him now. Jose Hernandez, 21 homers, due up next. Then Mark Grace. And if somebody can get aboard, Sammy Sosa. And somebody is aboard. Lance Johnson, picked up by Langford. He'll hold Johnson to a single. Now, these innings have been nightmarish for the Cardinals much of the year. They have lost 8 games in which they were leading going to the 9th inning. The last time they lost that many was 1954.
Well, La Russa said they got off to a slow start early in the year, being able to hold people in the 9th inning, and then it became, a problem, a lot of pressure. Everyone kept saying, well, I don't want to go out there and make a mistake. So you pitch under pressure rather than being relaxed and knowing that you can make the pitch you have to make under certain circumstances.
Well, less than 2 weeks ago, the Florida Marlins were here. The Cardinals took a 6-0 lead into the 9th inning and blew that lead. Showing bunt is Hernandez. He takes a strike. He is 1 for 4 in the game. He singled his first time up there. It's interesting here again, Joe. I mean, the old bromide in baseball was on the road you play for the win. At home you play for the tie.
And you have a guy there that has 21 home runs hitting for you.
Well, I wonder if he's just saying, let's play to get Sammy up. Let's make sure we don't hit a double play. Hernandez hits a lot of them. And moves the runner over. Now they've got Grace and Sosa to try and get that tying run home. Now, before Grace bats, an update from Bill Pito.
All right, John. Luis Lopez of the Mets had a 2-run home run in the 2nd. After the long rain delay, they played the 4th, and now he steps up in the 5th, and he doubles the score, too. So Lopez, at this point, has driven in 4 runs, and the Mets now lead Atlanta by the score of 6-2, going to the top of the 6th.
And that's the Mets attempting to take 3 out of 4 from Atlanta, which would make a serious statement for the Mets and their intentions in the wild card race. Well, here's Mark Grace. The Cubs have not had a hit with a man at second all day long, or third, or either one. 0 for 11 in these kinds of at-bats, a spot where a hit could well mean a run. They have not had a single hit in 11 previous chances. And Johnson, who runs real well, is the possible tying run. Mark Grace, 0 for 4. Curveball, dribbled foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, in that game with Florida 12 days ago, the Marlins had 3 successive solo homers to get started in the 9th inning, down 6-0. And then later, Mark Kotsay hit a 3-run homer to tie it, and then they won it in the 10th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Right back to Acevedo. He lobs it over to McGwire for the putout. Down to third is Johnson, and now Sammy Sosa with 2 down in the 9th inning, and the possible tying run at third base.
Well, this is only fitting. This is what the Cubs would want in this situation. Have a guy up there that not only can tie the ball game, but he can put you ahead with 1 swing of the bat. And a big congregation at the mound. I mean, Duncan goes out to talk to Acevedo. And I guess they're going to decide how they're going to go after Sammy Sosa.
Now, the man on deck is a left-handed hitter, Brant Brown. A rookie's had a very fine season. Tough hitter.
I don't think you'll see La Russa walk Sammy, because La Russa's been so upset about the way that they pitched to McGwire in these situations, not going after him. So I don't think you'll see Tony La Russa decide to walk Sammy Sosa.
Talking to Carney Lansford there. Bobby Witt gets up in the St. Louis bullpen. The Cubs have the tying run over at third base. And one of the leading RBI men. I mean, forget the home run for a moment. Sammy Sosa has been the man to get those runs home. He leads the National League in RBIs. And only Juan Gonzalez in all of Major League Baseball is ahead of him. Saved in the dirt by Marrero. It almost became academic there, whether they walk Sammy or not. There is Sosa. It's ironic, if Sosa gets a hit here of any kind, he will ensure that McGwire gets another at bat today. Or at least another plate appearance. Fouled that one back. And there's that difference you pointed out, Joe. McGwire, who makes you throw one in the strike zone, and Sammy, who goes up there looking to hit the ball and make something happen for his club.
Yeah, Sammy's a little more aggressive than McGwire. McGwire is aggressive, of course, in the strike zone and just out. Sammy is more of a free swinger.
Sosa's walks way up this year over the past, but still he's only walked 61 times. Oh, man. And that's not where the target was. Marrero had the target set up on the outside.
Yeah, but sometimes you make a mistake and that ball runs back in, as that one did, and Sammy looking for something away probably. Ball got on him.
Took a mighty cut. And he was going for the lead on that one to put the Cubs ahead. But now he's got 2 strikes. Fouled it back to the screen. He came right after him.
Well, I don't think Acevedo wants to take a chance on trying to throw that splitter down in the dirt and have it possibly get away from Marrero. So he said, hey, I threw one fastball by him. He's got to be looking for something else. I'll try another one. I don't think he'll try another one in that spot, though.
I'm with you on that one.
He moves away this time.
He struck him out. And the ball game is over. And the Cubs, frustrations go right to the last bitter out. Both Grace and Sosa failing to get that hit with the man in scoring position. And the team goes 0 for 13 in those at-bats. Frustrating day for the Cubs. A winnable game. And they just couldn't get the big hit.
Definitely a winnable game. They had a lot of opportunities and could not get the base hit with runners in scoring position. This looks like a splitter over the outside part of the plate. Yes, it is. Look at that, right over the outside part of the plate. Maybe it was a fastball, but it looked like he had his fingers split apart. Well, that's a fastball. Good pitch there, right on the outside corner. There's the man of the moment.
Mark McGwire, who hit number 61 in the first inning. And they show the moment again on the big screen out in right field. The fans cheering again. What caused delirium at the time. So now, certainly, Joe, if there was ever a question, and I don't think there was, about McGwire and the record, it truly seems now just a matter of when and not if. 19 games left in the schedule for the Cardinals, beginning with tomorrow's game right here against the same Cubs, a night game. And Kent Merker will be out there on the hill going against Sammy Sosa tomorrow. Sosa still with 58 home runs. Mark McGwire standing by with our Dave Campbell. Let's go to Dave.
Mark, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's unbelievable. Huh?
Speechless.
Unbelievable. A little something we found out later today, your dad's 61st birthday.
Yeah, and what a better way to say happy birthday.
I saw you make a gesture. I mean, so many things after you hit the home run, but you looked right into the box at the Maris family.
Well, I pointed to them. You know, the time I met him over in Atlanta, they couldn't be any nicer. And it's what a wonderful feeling. I pointed up to them saying that Roger's in my heart, blew a kiss to him, and I just said thank you. And, you know, it's just, you know, I know he's with me, and that's really all I can say is thank you to all the Marises.
I talked to Kathy. She said Matt got here just before the game, just in time for a hug.
I was down there getting my bat, and I said, how you doing? I gave him a kiss. I told him I loved him. Next thing you know, I hit a home run.
1 to go. Last game of a homestand tomorrow.
Yeah.
Always pressure.
I don't know if I ever can run away from pressure, but I'll tell you what, I'm enjoying every minute, and what can I say? It's just it's the time of my life right now.
Morgan came right after you all day long. So did Karchner. I thought the second at bat you had a pitch to hit as well.
Yeah, it's just it was a slider, and I just hit down on it, and you know I got it by G, and I thanked him when I got to third base. I thought you know he's a Gold Glover over there, and I said thank you for pulling the Ole, and he asked me what happened. I said I think the ball just stayed down on him. So that's an old teammate of mine.
Sammy Sosa and you had a great press conference before the game. You both appear to really be enjoying this.
Well, we are. You know, it's this is stressful, but what can you say? I mean, we're enjoying it. We're two very talented players having just unbelievable years, and we're just riding the wave and along with America.
Mark, congratulations.
Thank you
We're
very
looking
much.
forward to one more.
Thank you.
Mark McGwire, number 61, John.
Great moment and a thrill to have been here to see it. McGwire homering in the first inning against Mike Morgan. And, Joe, I mean, it was out of here. If you blinked, you might have missed it.
Well, John, I've been very fortunate. I've been involved in World Series games. I've seen Pete Rose chasing records. I've seen George Foster, Johnny Bench, some of the greatest players ever chasing records. But I'd have to say this ranks right up there with them to be here and watch Mark McGwire be a part of history.
So McGwire hitting number 61, and now tomorrow night he'll go against Steve Traxel, the Cubs starter, and Sosa will be up against the left-hander Kent Merker, and we're planning to be in Cincinnati Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern to see McGwire go against the Cincinnati Reds. Sports Center coming up next. Stay tuned for that. The Cardinals have beaten the Cubs 3-2. And for 2 generations, the number 61 has stood for all things grand and improbable because it topped the Babe himself. Despite incredible pressures, Roger Maris overtook Ruth. Even so, an asterisk was attached to his name because of a longer season. Today, he equaled it.
That ball is gone if it's fair. It is a home run. Number 61. He has tied Maris.
In this, the 144th game of the season, even Ruth has now been passed. The world tunes in as ballparks erupt. A hug with his son, a record-tying curtain call. 61, it remains a magical figure, but for the first time, 62 is imminent, forever linked to both Maris and Ruth. A new record is just a swing away. Mark McGwire is chasing history.